welcome to Pew Pew Bang, a video game podcast that is also a slumber party. We're talking games, we're sharing stories, dishing out life advice. My name is Kelsey Lewin, and joining me we've got Janet Garcia.
Hello.
Haley Maclean.
Hi.
And Sarah Podzorski.
Hello.
So today we are talking about probably like an obvious one that was going to come up in this first few episodes, which is girl games. What makes a game a girl game? We'll go through a little bit of girl game history and do some fun challenges and some show and tell on the subject. But first, I want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who's been listening and sharing Pew Pew Bang and rating us on podcast apps and stuff. We really want to find our people with this show, so all of that helps a ton. Also, if you've been listening or watching on YouTube, don't forget you can subscribe to Pew Pew Bang for free on your favorite podcast app. If you're here because you are a MinnMax listener, the show is in a separate feed to the MinnMax show. So, all that being said, let's talk about some girl games today. So, okay, first question for the panel here. How do you define a girl game? What makes a game a girl game?
It was easy in the 90s, and now it's an enigma.
A lot harder.
Truly an enigma.
Mine's like if the target audience, when they make the game, if they have girls in mind, that confines it as a girl game. Like when they think about who's going to be playing it, if it's majority women, girl game.
So when you say in mind, you mean majority playing it in mind, not just one single girl might play this one day. Put them
No, I think it's like majority girls might play, you know?
That's a good take.
Yeah, I think too, like with the 90s mention, a lot of girl games were like literally like a girl, like a child woman. So there'd also be, you know, an element of user friendliness that is specifically geared towards children, which frankly isn't necessarily that different than traditional games. It's just that they have like a slightly different lens to them. Like there's an attempt to make them simpler, even if that attempt isn't always successful. Some of those kid games I played, not so easy.
Some of those kids' games are so hard.
Mm-hmm. I've actually been thinking about, I was thinking about that as we were preparing for this episode. I was like, I wonder, there were some like PC games that I played as a kid that I could never beat that I'm sure are like not actually that difficult, but maybe they are. Like maybe I didn't beat them because they were actually hard.
Yeah, because the controls were not good, and you know nobody like tested it. They were like, I don't know, ship it to the kids, they'll figure it out.
We were the testers. The girls were the testers of girl games, if we're being totally honest.
Did you ever get, not to like derail us already, but like the games that I got as a kid, it would say like literally on the cover, it would say girl games, and it would be 3 CD-ROM games, and it would literally say games for girls, like on the cover.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, because like the 90s is really when anyone started conceiving of women, or I guess mostly girls, not so much women, as like a market for video games. I mean, girls have always played video games, but the first people who were making video games, by and large, were dudes, and they were making games that they thought they would like. And I think, I mean, you even get the children's games of the early eras, like the, mid to late 70s and through the 80s and stuff. Like the kids' games also suck too. It's not just the girls' games that suck. It's just like anything that's not for like teenage boys, or maybe not even teenage, but like, you know, kids that are above a certain age or skill level or whatever, like is kind of the only thing that's considered for a really long time. So, I struggle. I've always struggled with the like concept of girl games because I definitely played some when I was a kid. But I also like, I'm a recovered not like other girls girl.
Oh, that's right.
So like,
I go through that phase though sometimes.
Yeah.
Rite of passage.
So I was very like anti-pink. Like I was like, I don't like the color pink. I don't like, bows and girly things or whatever, because I thought that those things, because what I was seeing in the media and like with the things that were marketed to me, it all was mostly like kind of childish. It was a lot of like Barbie games and games marketed towards younger girls. Not entirely, but a lot of it of that era. And so it kind of like had this effect of like, well, if I want to be taken seriously, that means I can't like the things that these games are about and around. But I think I think it's really important, like whether or not you like pink, because you don't have to like girly things to be a girl, obviously. It's like, I think it's really important to talk about these games because they are so often not included at all when we talk about like the story of video game history. And so you kind of do, like, rather than being like, oh no, like they're all just games for everybody, all games are just for everyone, you know? They, like, these just disappear if you don't talk about them.
And I feel like it puts us at a real disadvantage, like especially on the MinnMax show, when like everyone's like reminiscing on the games that they played growing up. And I feel like the odd one out that I haven't played any of those games, but I'm like, did you play like Laura's Happy Adventure, the PC-ROM game from 1998? Did you play, you know, Barbie Rapunzel? It's like, did you? So it's like you never really get validated for playing those girl games, and it feels like you're just missing a chunk of history.
It's like it never comes up on the resume ever again. It's like, I put all those hours in and no one's going to give me credit for that. Hello?
And they're not selling you merch with that stuff on it well into your 20s and 30s like they are with like Mega Man and stuff.
Remake. Where's my Laura's Happy Adventure remake?
And where's my like Laura's Happy Adventure mug, you know? Like but yeah, I think like so many girl games fall in this weird designation where people want to police like what counts.
I didn't even know I played this and I played this. Laura's Happy Adventure.
Shut up.
Continue.
Shut up. Okay, we'll get to that.
Validated.
We'll get to that. Validated.
I'm weak. Sorry.
It's okay. It's
awesome.
okay. So many games, like, they are not... They're pushed out of this thing and they're talked about and like, oh, well, that doesn't really like count as a game. And some of them do. Like, so in like 1991, there was a Barbie game on the NES, right? And that was a platformer. So that one counts because that looks like other games. It's a platformer that is a genre that like people believe is a video game. But there are so many things, especially on the PC, because PC really was the realm of girl games for a super long time. Until like the DS, I feel like, or maybe the Game Boy Advance was kind of where the tides started shifting. But yeah, all these other things are like, well, that's kind of more like software. That's not really a game. That's software. And so you just get this stuff like left in the aether. Like it's not talked about at all because we don't really, I mean, we do have software historians, but like you basically need a girl, like a woman scholar or a scholar of some sort of women's studies to be like, also there were these things for this stuff to be talked about at all. So, I mean, just for a very brief bit of history, there was a game in 1983 for the Atari called Strawberry Shortcake Musical Matchups. That was kind of like the first mainstream thing for a console. But then between, like, really up until the 90s, people weren't making... Are you looking this up, Haley?
Yeah.
It's such a nothing game, but like at least it was for girls. It's so much in this era, it's like digital and electronic toys and board games rather than video games, because the people who were making games for consoles just really weren't considering women. But you have video games like taking over toy stores, and the toy manufacturers are like, hey, you guys, like, there's a whole set of people over here that you're not selling stuff to. Like the whole video game section is just like at best unisex, right? Like nothing is for girls over there. So then they start making all these like digital toys that are kind of like half video game, half like you could kind of debate
like
on all of them.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Things that are like that's kind of a video game, but like not really.
It's a good nod.
Yeah. Things with digital screens and you do buttons and inputs and like it is quite literally like you're doing inputs on a video screen that is a game. Like that is a definition of a video game, but because it's like not on a console, it's not real. So I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, I know. I always heard that like and I've always heard that like, oh, well, the reason is that they had to pick a toy aisle, right? There was the girl toy aisle and the boy toy aisle, and they had to put the console somewhere, so they put them in the boy aisle. And I never know how accurate that is, because it's like
everything.
There's other aisles.
There's also
the electronics aisle.
All look exactly identical. You're telling me every single store ever had two aisles for kids always? That's a lie.
Yeah. I think it all just kind of feeds into each other. I mean, you really, the early days of the industry just didn't have a lot of women in them. By the 90s, you at least had some women who had been working in the industry for a decade at that point, people like Brenda Laurel, who founded Purple Moon Games and worked at Atari and stuff for a long time, was, you know, she was one of the people who was like, hey, I've been doing this video game thing for a long time. Where are the games for girls? And so she started making some. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of why this started happening in the 90s is because it took like a good decade of women existing in these industries to even be like, guys, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And in this era, you know, you needed investors to fund not always, I mean, people made games in their garage, but like you often needed to convince someone like, hey, this is a good idea, buy this game from me or fund this game. And if you can't, Sarah, you had a very funny thing on the MinnMax show a while back where it was like, men can't conceive of a woman. Like they cannot conceive of the person who would enjoy this thing.
Yeah.
And it really, it's been like that. It was people who were like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand this thing, and therefore no one will.
Mm-hmm.
That was a legendary rant, Sarah.
Yeah.
It was a
the
legendary.
Infinity
Oh,
Nikki, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the infamous Infinity Nikki thing where everyone's like, men are like, how do I goon to this? And it's like, why are you like jumping through hoops, figuring out a way that you could potentially touch yourself to this game and not just know that like it's not for you? Like they couldn't understand that like maybe it's just not for you.
11 minutes in and we're talking about gooning. New record!
Yes.
Every week we find a way to make this podcast like a little bit at the least family friendly, clean podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, that also leads
podcast
into why, if it's a game for girls, is it also a game for children? Which
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
bothers me so much.
Me too.
They're like, oh, it's a game for girls. Is it also for children? As if like women can't. As if women don't deserve like adult, not like adult R-rated,
Yes.
but just like games that also kids wouldn't play.
Yeah, you know what else is like a really girl-coded thing? Murder. Like,
Love murder.
women
We
love
it.
learning about
We loving murder.
murder. So, you guys know Her Interactive, the company that makes
Yeah.
all the Nancy Drew games?
Yes,
Like,
of
those
course. My Bible.
are games for girls in, you know, in their turn, or in like that's the consensus, right? That those are girly games. Those are games about like murder and stuff. We're solving mysteries. That's not.
Man, Nancy
That's
gets
not for-
chopped in half sometimes. In that
Nancy
game.
dies.
Nancy be
In some
the
of those
early
games.
Ones, there's an early one. I think it's Blackmore Manor. If you step on a board the wrong way, an axe comes down from the ceiling and goes swung, and she goes ah, and like gets blood.
And it's a game for children.
And I
So
remember
she's like
being
the OG Laura Croft.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Do you see her get chopped in half?
You never see Nancy to this day.
You feel
Never
it, though.
but you feel it for her. And
okay.
She straight up screams, and then it like cuts to the scene that's just like you died, and then it puts you back to the main menu where it was like
Dark
if you
Sounds
didn't
like Elden Ring
save-
to me.
Yep.
I don't know.
If you didn't save, you're boned. And so you're just like, what? The first few times that happened to me as a kid, life altering. I felt the chemistry in my brain change because it was like, oh wow, death. I'm 10 years old and I just died as Nancy Drew. All right.
I had that moment with Oregon Trail. Was that? What's everyone's first like brush with the concept of death in a game? Because that was
Mortality in a video
Yeah.
game?
Ah.
Oh man, you need to tell me about these questions before you ask them.
It's
Now
tough because I
gotta-
feel
now
like
I'm
off
gonna
the
sit
top
here
of
for
my
a
head.
while.
I'm sorry.
so much of gaming death feel like I came up mostly through platformers, still have a huge love of platformers. And so
Oh,
much
so
of
those
that
aren't
death
real
is very
deaths.
trivialized. Exactly. It's a game
Yeah.
over. It's like it doesn't really feel like I never thought, oh no, like this is it for Mario. I said just get more coins, you know? We're gonna stack up
My
these
buddy
lives.
Mario.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's fine. He's right here. Yeah, like a more serious death. I feel like all of my games, and that's what's funny with my game history. I don't necessarily have much in the way of like what people would conceptualize as girl games, but a lot of my games are kind of in that what we now modernly conceive as like family friendly games because they're platformers. So it's like, oh well, there's nobody with there is no man with a gun, and thus it is for the family. So yeah, when was death serious? Maybe Metal Gear? I didn't really care about these people dying. Is that bad? I didn't feel anything for these people?
No, that's the
See,
first
some
time
of you
it's
guys-
a experience. A bunch of random.
Some of
men
you
are dying.
guys never named your Oregon Trail characters after your crush, and it shows.
Oh my god,
No,
wait, for
I
me
usually
it was
named it on the people around me at the school. You know, in class, it's like, who wants to get in the wagon? And then people would be like, oh, I want to be in the wagon. And you put them in there, and it's like,
And then they die.
You twisted your ankle. Yeah, and it was like, yo, you died. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's
That's
not
cool. I've never played this game
Yeah.
in front of other people. Is this a common?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Did you guys
This
play
is
it
an
at school? I played
American
it in
institution.
class. Like, oh, the work's done early. You can get on the computer in the corner of the social studies class, and you can play Oregon
But
Trail.
didn't they have like a
because
better
it's
game like
historical.
Putt Putt Goes to the Zoo or something?
Yeah, but it's
What
not
was that
social
little
studies.
car?
Oh,
You know what I mean? So it's
Putt-Putt's
like,
an icon.
what are they gonna do?
There's not death in Putt Putt.
I know,
No.
nobody died in
He
Putt
does
Putt.
Yeah,
We
the
wanted
Oregon
to
Trail
turn
death
around.
didn't affect me. Was I supposed to care that my virtual friends died? I didn't mind. I was like, hey, that's life sometimes.
What did you do when your crush died in Oregon Trail?
I cried.
Oh, that's so sad.
Your crush did not deserve
computer off.
that.
No.
I
Crush did
did
not deserve your tears.
like not the same thing, but in Cult of the Lamb, which also maybe we'll come up later because that's kind of like a modern girl game in a way. Cult of the Lamb, you can have like your followers and name them, and like I named one of them like after like my fiance, also just other people in my life, you know, and I tried to like have that be the creatures die in the game, and I'm like, oh no, like you're gonna die. It's like, okay, I got a resurrection spell, so now you're back. And then I gave him like a magical amulet so that he could live a little bit longer and that we could be still married together, even though I think you have
Wow,
to marry a couple
favoritism in
people.
the cult
I'm saying.
is nothing. What the heck?
That's what makes it a cult, Sarah. It's like, yeah, of course there's gonna be like, you know, everyone wants
Sarah
to
would
be with
leave
the most
cult
powerful
if
person.
there's favoritism, but for no other red flag.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, Sarah, maybe I give you the necklace. You know, anyone can get
the most devout
exactly.
follower.
Girl, I could find you another necklace in that forest. Don't you worry. I got you. I got you. But yeah, so similar vibes, but as an adult.
How did we go from talking to girl games about being like, what was your first video game brush with death?
Nancy
I
Drew
guess-
got chopped
there's
in
some
half.
like-
I think it might
They can be
Nancy
more
Drew.
serious than you might think. I
It might be
suppose
that
is the
for
through
me.
line.
There's another one where I think it's Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. I love Nancy
Yeah,
Drew.
don't the dogs like
No, the
do the
dogs.
dogs tear her apart?
No.
No.
No, I wish. No, it's like it actually is so they're a little sneaky at her interactive. They had like something you're supposed to read over on a wall, but if you walk up to the wall, the baseboards break and she falls to her death into the basement. And then it just goes back to square one. And I was like, what? That one felt like that's not fair.
It's also the first like 10 minutes of the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
isn't it like really early on too?
It is. And she be dying. Those games were great. They still are, except for the newest one. Sorry, that's a whole other.
I was just about to say, I'm like, really? That's not what I saw when you streamed today. Like, I don't know.
No, that was a little stinky.
Mine was definitely some of the Harvest Moon games were like unnecessarily brutal.
Oh yeah.
For no reason. Like in one of the Harvest Moon games, I think it was a DS one, but your barn could collapse in a storm and kill all your animals inside, essentially, and you would have to start from zero. Square one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's when
See,
you
girl
first
games
knew
are
that
brutal.
that you had mortality. when
But
your-
speaking of like
you
Harvest
died.
Moon, Harvest Moon like wasn't supposed to be a girl game. Remember?
Right.
Like Harvest Moon was like made for 20-year-old, 30-year-old men who are like trying to escape their humdrum lives to live as like a farmer. But you know who actually played Harvest Moon games? Girls. Like all the time. Like a bunch of girls play Harvest Moon games.
When I hear
And-
that, how dumb must they have been? Do you know what I mean? How do you not look at that and go, women will love this? Or like,
How to
oh my
how to
God,
conceptualize a
25-year-old
woman?
men
We're
will
back.
love this. Like what? How are you?
I do
Because
think
like you
that's
have
a
to marry
very
too.
that is a very like Sarah, you'll probably know more about this than I do, but it seems like that's a very like Japanese man in the city
Yeah.
thing though, like just romanticizing the countryside and
life.
being because I mean that's part of the story of
But then,
Animal
like,
Crossing too.
What's wild is it's like, you know, me and Tanaka-san are like picking out our wives together, like who we think would be the best wife. I'm thinking Ellie because she's a doctor or a nurse because she's a woman, obviously, and she could raise our kids. And it's like Tanaka-san's thinking like Potpourri because she looks like she's 12. So we are not on the same wavelength, but we're still playing the same game.
Oh.
Oh no.
All right, should we talk about our childhood? I don't know. Look, Sarah,
Oh no.
I don't know how to transition out of that. Give me a break.
That was spot on. lived
You know, that was
experience.
bold.
That's
Yeah.
You can't
It
just
was.
pull that out from a random anecdote. Sarah had those feelings live in a moment at one point, and had them banked in her memory.
Did you guys ever like fall for like do you have like video game related trauma where you like fall for the cover of a game because they put a woman on it? and then you play it and you realize it's like not for the same reasons that there's a woman on the cover of it.
Oh, like you thought you were going to be a pretty woman, and instead the pretty woman is just,
Sexualized in front
you
of
know.
you.
Yeah. Like I fell for that a lot as a kid because like, you know,
What's
I
an
went from playing
example?
Barbie PC games with Barbie on the cover, and then all of a sudden I'm playing like, I think that's how I got into like Valkyrie Profile, that there's a woman on that cover, Valkyrie Profile 2.
Oh,
there's some
interesting.
old FromSoft game with a woman on the cover, but it's like Kingdom something, and I started playing that when I was like too young to play it.
Is Woman on the Cover how you ended up playing that Jeanne d'Arc game?
Yes! And that also didn't pay off in the end.
Don't tell me that
have
I
not
saw it in
learned
the
my
foil,
lesson.
Sarah. I'm about to put it up on your recommendation. But yeah, that's actually like a really funny but very legitimate way to go about looking at stuff. Because yeah, that's like,
I fell
you know,
for it over
you
and
just
over and over
peruse.
again.
You'd peruse and you'd
Like-
see what was there.
I'm like looking at my games to be like, do I have an example for that? But I, like, yes, I mean, Final Fantasy and stuff would sometimes, but then like there are women in those games and you do get to play as them, and they're mostly like fully realized good characters. So that's not quite the same.
Yeah, I was
Trying to
lucky
think
in
of an
that
example
regard.
for me, but I don't know if I have one. I remember my cousins playing Tomb Raider, and I got excited that they were a girl character, but then they were doing the cheats that made her Zooks really big and stuff, and I was like, oh, this isn't for me. I got excited for the wrong reason.
I've never heard that slang.
Zooks? That's not
Zooks?
Yeah, me either. Is that a you guys thing? Is that a Canadian thing?
That's a Haley
Canadian
McLean thing.
slang?
That's not
Oh,
a
okay.
That's a you thing?
thing. Yeah.
I was like, up in Canada, they say this all the time. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
start making some up.
Big Zooks.
Yeah. No, I
I
like
go
that.
to Victoria's Secret for my Zooks.
Yeah.
Man, my Zooks hurt. I need to go to Victoria's Secret and figure that out.
Oh my gosh. But what were y'all's other?
It was Lost
Girl games.
Kingdoms 2. There was a girl on the
Oh,
cover,
yeah.
and it
Okay,
said
yeah.
it's actually just like a really hard game that like a 15-year-old shouldn't be playing.
Ooh, okay. Let me show the audience.
Yeah.
But like,
that
what
looks
a
cool.
boss! I literally got that game because I was like, she looks like a boss. And to be fair, she was. I don't think she was that sexualized, but not where I was in the wrong aisle, you could say.
She kind of looks like you, Sarah. So you come
I
get
know.
excited.
You
You're
know
like,
what?
"It's me."
You know what I will say, you guys. If there's a blonde girl on the cover, I will be perusing. I will be purchasing.
So you just look out there looking for yourself.
Yes. And you know what?
That's fair.
You-
I respect the game.
Important. I was always more of a like cute animals on the cover kind of thing, like
Yeah.
rather than pretty lady.
That's so much safer.
I do love
It is,
animals.
it's a lot safer, let me tell you.
Did you ever get gaslit by that premise? Was there ever a cute animal on the cover and then it was actually like a Cujo game or something like that? Doesn't happen as
think
often.
so.
They may
It's
be
not-
weaponizing women images to trick you to
Yeah.
come in here instead of like a dog.
Conqueror's Bad Fur
Like-
Day. I don't know. I got stop playing this mean
Hey,
squirrel.
that's actually a good
That's actually a
example.
very good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I don't have an example of one where it's like, and then I hated it. This is incredibly stupid because they're not cute at all. But I really like Oddworld Munch's Odyssey on the original Xbox.
Oh man.
And I thought Munch was super cute, and I think you guys are just gonna think I'm insane. Abe is
game-
obviously
This is definitely
not
giving
cute.
vile. Yeah. I don't
That
know.
game scared
Yeah.
the crap out of me.
Cute,
Kelsey.
not hot, Janet.
Oh my god.
Cute.
What?
Are we talking about
Mountain
eight? Wait,
Dew?
what character are we talking about here?
The Mountain
The,
Dew
the one in
cover.
This guy?
the front. Yeah,
The little one with the,
the
one
little
foot?
one. Yeah.
Him?
No shade. The 1 foot's not why he
I thought he
looks
was
strange.
cute.
It's just
I thought he
I
was
thought you meant him. I was like, oh wait,
He's
maybe.
scary.
He's scary.
No.
He's,
He's
a little
cute.
scary. I don't like to yuck anybody's yum, but he's a little scary. That's coming from me.
Okay,
He's
well,
a little
let's-
scary.
how do you-
I like how we all immediately become like 12 years old. He's scary. No, he's super cute. No, you're gross. Yeah, no, he's too much for me.
I don't see what you see, but
Look at him here. Is this
Well,
what
I
Wait.
did not. I
me
did
take my
not like the
glasses
little
off.
chicken nugget things, though.
Wow. Kelsey's crush.
Okay.
This Mountain Dew can is like, I'm getting sent back in time looking at that.
It is peak 2002 or whatever
That's
the
so
heck this year came out.
2002.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, back when Xbox Green dominated, you know, it was the original bright green, the Xbox logo.
All right. What is our favorite childhood girl games? we'll bring this back to a thing that makes sense to be talking about instead of whether or not Munch is cute.
I don't have any. Add another tally to my whack childhood.
That's
that
so
I had,
bizarre
where I
because
had, like,
all the games I played growing up were like quote unquote like girl games, right? Because like I grew up playing PC games in my parents' basement. We had like the
I
family
think that's a big divide.
PC. Yeah, and so we had the family PC, and a lot of like we said PC ROM games were girl games, like unlike the consoles. So I had like every Barbie game. I'm playing like My Little Pony. I'm playing Disney games. All of the trash that they could pump out onto a CD-ROM. Like I had it as a kid. But my favorite was Laura's Happy Adventures, which was the 1998 adventure game. It was based off of Playmobil, made by Ubisoft Montreal, and you play as a little like Victorian British girl, and she's a Playmobil girl. It's super, super cute, and you're solving like a mystery in this town, and it was like a really, really well-made 3D adventure game. Okay?
Cool.
And I played it for like hours. It looks so cool. It still looks good.
The
I
visuals
feel.
are not that bad. If you look at our stream right now, it looks fine. I remember playing this too, Sarah, and I remember at this time, what was that pizza delivery Lego game was out? What was it called? Something Island or something?
Like
Lego Island.
Lego Island. And I was like, this is my Lego Island. This point.
Yeah.
It does look at the art looks just like a Lego game.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit less,
honestly,
fidelity,
this
but
looks
it's not
like?
that different.
This looks like a modern Pokemon game.
Honestly,
the shadows are better, Kelsey.
the mock-up,
There's
like
more
it's
detail.
I just mean in terms of like when you're inside of the building, you know, I'm thinking kind of
Yeah.
like Shining
the way the
Pearl
camera
and-
pans. Yeah,
Yeah,
Skips when she
Brilliant
walks.
Diamond.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and she skips everywhere.
that's really cute.
But I also experienced my first ever like video game bug playing this game. So I played in the PC was in the basement, so it was already kind of scary. And they were doing like a minecart section where it's like a minecart cutscene, which, you know, validates the fact that all good games have minecarts in them that you ride.
I'm sorry, is this a
And
rat that we just saw? Okay.
We're solving a mystery.
Danger.
But I was like in a random I did
skips
the
up
minecart
the rat.
cutscene, and I was in a random house, and Laura clipped through the floor of the house into the minecart cutscene, which was in like a dank cave. And I must have been like 5. I screamed because she clipped through the floor, and I went sprinting upstairs because I thought like
so cute.
something horrible and scary was happening, and I was too afraid to go back down to the PC. So my parents had to go.
Oh, that's cute. A peanut is in her backpack.
That's to feed the squirrels.
Oh, I
You
love
give the
that's
squirrels a
cute.
peanut.
This looks like a really... So here's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, you know, girl games are... The word people use all the time is shovelware in the like game, or in the physical video game world, the collecting world and stuff. And it's like there are bad girl games, and there are also, by the way, there's bad boy games too. But like this looks good. This looks like a good
yeah, those
game.
look good.
Yeah. The graphics.
Kelly,
look
did you say
cute.
that you played this one too?
Oh, I 100% play. I remember this was the kind of game that you'd play like once a month. You know what I mean? You just kick it up. You're like, I'll do a quick run through Laura's Happy Adventure. Oh, it's just, and these are also the kind of games where I wouldn't even do the objective. I just skip around town. That's like how I
Same.
played games a lot too. Is like I'd beat it once and then I just like play inside the game. I guess kids do that now, but with Fortnite and Roblox.
Would you like role play too?
Yeah.
Like you would like pretend you're basically like playing with dolls almost.
Yeah, that's like how my sister and I play games too. Is how kind of how I talked about before. It was just like this is just a place to play. It's not really like a software meant to be
So you were like ahead of your time, you know? You were like the OG Roblox kids.
making our own fun
Yeah.
in Playmobil games. Honestly, you know, I say, oh, Roblox kids, how different is it to play in a Playmobil game than Roblox? Kind of the same exact pattern there.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
the art
honest.
is also kind of similar, to be
Yeah.
honest, like that blocky kind of characters.
Oh, the doggy.
I mean, I think that is the thing about, I'll just say kids in general. I'm sure that's not a like gendered thing or mostly women doing this thing, but yeah, I feel like as a kid you are able to just kind of play with games as way more of a sandbox than they actually are. I mean, I played, you know, my brother had some games that were, you know, like male coded or whatever, like Tonka Construction or whatever. And I would play those games too, because I would be like, oh, I'm gonna like, there was a tiny like city builder in one of the Tonka PC games that I played as a kid. And so I would just like, I'd be like kind of decorating and like doing decorating challenges for myself, or like I'm gonna paint this birdhouse and try to make the prettiest birdhouse, and like not doing any of the actual objectives, but still having fun and finding a way to make, you know, to make a game that wasn't even for me, like still interesting.
I did that with Ocarina of Time. Like my cousin had beat Ocarina of Time on his N64, and when I went over to their house, I would play like Pretty Pony Princess, and I would put Link on the pony, and I would pretend that I was like a princess, and I would go around the kingdom, and that's like all I did. It's like I would just like RP my pretty Link princess.
I would RP King Kong.
I saw you typing this in, and I was like, where could we possibly be going?
I felt crazy with this last level. We had a save. So this is Peter Jackson's King Kong, the Xbox game. And I played through the game, but then I'd saved this one level at the very end where he's loose in New York. And this was like my power fantasy. This is
where he's loose in New York.
Loose in New York. And, you know, mom would be like, you didn't clean the dishes. And then my brother would be like, you're too small to play with us, play football. And everyone was telling me what to do. And I'd come and I'd log into I'd turn on King Kong and I'd wreck New York City. That's what I would do. So
this was just your rage room?
This was my rage room.
Yeah.
This level was great. And I would always be careful. There was like a specific, if you got too close to the Empire State Building, it would trigger the cutscene and it would move on the game. And I lost the save a couple times doing that. So I'd have to replay the whole game to get my rage room.
No!
But that's how, again, like same kind of thing. It's like,
women crave the rage room. Yeah, just give me a spot.
It was so fun.
Just destroy.
And it's like, it starts out with him like all shackled up. And I would remember I'd be like, get out of those shackles, King Kong. And I would like feel like King Kong wanting to get loose. Like, this is what we had to do for fun because there wasn't enough for us. You know, we had to make our own fun. And the final level of Peter Jackson's King Kong.
This is beautiful.
This is female rage. This is
genuinely though, like when I hear stuff like this, I'm just like, obviously it's not like obvious in the moment, but when I hear stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, how come no one made a game for girls but where you can just destroy everything? Like,
right? They need it.
I mean, I think that's what's so nice about like the era that we are in. I know there's always those conversations about like, oh, gaming was, you know, better in these ways back in the day or whatever. But I feel like we just inherently always have more access to games, but also more access to making games. Like, I mean, this is just like you know, Anarcute is basically that, where it's like you gather people and you just wreck stuff, and it's cute and destructive. And it's like, I think it just kind of, you know, again, in the modern era, a lot of what we associate with like, oh, these are girl games or games that are like more femme leaning. It does have like that cutesy aspect. But yeah, still gaining that destruction or other mechanics. It's like, what other mechanics can be here besides just, I think, the go-to presumed ones, which I think is kind of fun about the era we have now, where we're sort of taking some of that classic trope, but also mishmashing it with other stuff. And it just makes for, you know, more diverse times.
It's so exciting when you're playing a game that's very much not visually the classic girl game, like, you know, like we were used to as kids, but you're like, oh, a woman made this. Like, it's almost sometimes ethereal and you can't quite put your finger on why, but there's like some kind of underlying element to it that's like, oh yeah, female experience is in the code of this somewhere. I'm trying to even think of an example of what I mean by that, but do you guys know what I mean?
Well,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
yeah, it's like when I was playing Forspoken and you could like change her nails. I don't know if a woman made that, but like there was a point of Forspoken where you could like change the color of her nails and the size of her nails, and I was just like, whoa. I didn't even dare to dream that a game would ever have different types of nails in it. Like, there's certain things that you just do not dare to dream, and then when they happen, you're like, oh, I didn't know that I could fly this high.
I mean, I definitely feel that way about Animal Crossing. It's, you know, it was always kind of made at least tangentially with women in mind, but it is one of the, I mean, it was the game at Nintendo that the most women had ever worked on up until that point. So, like, there's a lot of stuff in there where it just feels like, yeah, like, the way that looks, or the fact that I have the option to do this. I think even just, like, something about just, like, physically pushing the furniture around and stuff, too, rather than it just being, like, plop the furniture there. Like it's a little grid, and you just plop things in places. It's, like, moving it around and, like, feeling it and that. And then especially in New Leaf when they started letting you... I think the customization's maybe gone a little too far. in the modern ones, but in New Leaf when it was like you can change the color of some of these, or you can change like the pillow, what's on the pillow or whatever on this couch. It was like this is the exact amount of like someone knows that I want to just be able to do a little bit more with this.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like The Sims as well. Like we were like talking a little bit about it with Sarah last week. Is like there's so much about The Sims that is so like for women, and they didn't even know it though. It's like it's definitely gotten better throughout the years when they're like, oh yeah, like our majority of our players are women, so let's lean into it. But like, yeah, it's kind of I never really thought about that, but like the pushing around furniture rather than plopping it, the like swatches and that kind of stuff, that really does lend to like, I don't know, I feel like every woman I know is so interested in like having a cozy environment and like this is my space. Not that men don't do that, but you know what I mean. Blah 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 blah. Men are important too, but like it's like having a cozy environment. It's like this is my space. Oh, it's gonna rain later, so I'm gonna bring everything in, and now it's all like fostering an environment like that in a game is one of my favorite things on planet Earth. The Gamify. I will play 1,000 hours of your game if it gives me that feeling.
What else did you guys play as kids? Or am I the only one that hasn't said anything? Haley, is your answer really Peter Jackson King Kong? That's your girly game.
I'm not lying. I put some major hours into that. But honestly, we already talked about probably Nancy Drew. I really, really love those. I can get my hands on Sierra games because I would have loved those too if I just got my little fingies on them. But it was kind of just, I don't know where I got my first one, but ever since then, it was like the gift I got every Christmas. And it was so exciting to know, like, okay, I don't really care what I get for Christmas because I'm getting a new Nancy Drew game. And sometimes two would come out in a year. And I'd be like, I'm getting 2 Nancy Drew games for Christmas.
You'd get both of them?
Maybe. Most of the time.
How do you decide
if you're good?
How do you decide what to play?
I would go off cover alone. Because that was back when the PC games came in those chunky big boxes, right?
Yep.
So I think one year I got Ghost Dogs and Moon Lake and something else at the same time, and I definitely played Ghost Dogs and Moon Lake because I like dogs. But those games, it was so fun to play because like just getting stuck on a puzzle for like a week and then coming back to it and finally finishing it, or like watching my sister play and like getting to help her with a puzzle later on was always so fun. And they had so much replayability because even though it's like, I don't know, I would replay like Game Boy Advance games like crazy where there was no plot. So it's so much more fun to replay the Nancy Drew game that has an actual coherent story plot and really thought out good puzzles and stuff. And I learned so much stuff early because of those games. Like I learned Roman numerals because of Nancy Drew way before my school curriculum required me to learn about Roman numerals, just because so many puzzles were Roman numeral based that I remember when we got to that phase of school or whatever, I could already like write out full like to the hundreds and thousands and stuff Roman numerals. My teacher was like, "Oh my god, I think we may need to move her up a grade." It's like, no, I just really like Nancy Drew and I know Roman. Like, ask me divisions next week.
You're like, no, please, don't move me. I'm exactly ready to
be. It's just Roman, unless we're going to like a Roman school or something like that. But that's about it. But those were like my absolute favorite things growing up, and I still replay them when I'm feeling a type of way. I've bought all the combo packs on Steam when they go on sale and stuff like that. I have a funny story though that my mom got so mad at me, which is I signed up. I went on. You would buy them from what's that fish? It has a fish as a logo. It's like the publisher of it. Oh god, I gotta look this up now. But it's Yeah, and they were set up at GDC, and I wanted to go up to them and talk to them because I was like, oh my god. But what had happened was I bought one of an Nancy Drew game off their website because it was finally getting to the phase where that you didn't have to buy them physical only, that you could buy digital copies on this website. Was it just called Fish Games?
Is it Big Fish Games?
Big Fish Games. It was Big Fish Games.
Good find.
I think they also do the I Spy games.
Yes.
They also have those.
Which I loved those too. But so I bought a Nancy Drew game off Big Fish Games using my mom's credit card, which she let me do. I didn't sneak and steal. She let me.
How old were you?
I don't know. Too old, probably like early teen or something. But I went on and then I apparently signed up to some like coin a month subscription.
No.
And we didn't find it for like 9 years, and they were charging
oh my god
$10 a month for like almost a decade.
Okay, at a certain point, that's on your mom.
I literally, I was gonna say the same thing. I said, wait, that's on your mom.
Oh my
That's on your mom
God.
at that point.
3 months, I excuse,
It was
but
years.
9 years.
Yeah, 9
Something
years.
Like that. 9 might be
Charges to the
7,
game.
something like that. But my mom was like, I just got a charge from Big Fish. You know what that is? I was like, they make the Nancy Drew games. And then she started looking into it. She's like, they've been charging me $10 a month for the last 9
What did
years.
you? Now I'm like, what did you miss out on? Like,
What
what
content did you get,
exclusivity
though?
were
Yeah.
you getting?
No, when
Can
I
you
went
still
onto the
download whatever you
account,
bought?
They did this thing where they give you a coin and you can exchange a coin for like 90% of their games, except nothing new, but like all of their past games, you could use a coin to exchange. I had hundreds of coins on my account. And you know those little bastards, they had them so they like expired. And so when we went on to find them, they were like changing their subscription model or something, and they were all expiring. So I messaged my friend Ellis, who's like also into Nancy Drew games when we were kids, and I was like, log onto my account and download every single Nancy Drew game. I was like, get every single one, use all the coins because I knew they were gonna expire like at the end of the year. So I was just trying to like give them to whoever, like download all the I Spies, like dozens, just download them. I don't care, like to use the coins because otherwise it's just a waste. Because we weren't getting a refund for that. But she was pissed. I was in so much trouble.
I'm surprised they couldn't like, because now you hear about like, you know, kids getting like thousands of dollars in like Robux or something, and it always seems like they can do chargebacks on those.
I
But back
know.
then they probably aren't as used to it.
No, and I think it was also the fact that it was a littler amount of money over a long period.
Yeah, per time, yeah.
Instead of one.
That's probably how
You
they
were,
built
like,
their whole
funding
business.
How many
off
things
of
do you
that,
think you
yeah.
funded? Yeah,
I
at Big
wanted
Fish
to go up to
games.
Big Fish and be like, do you guys have an internal like story of the account that wouldn't stop buying coins? Because that was me.
Well,
Like, I want
I'm
to
sure
know.
it wasn't just you. Like, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's like
yeah.
a lot of little old ladies and kids who also
True.
like accidentally didn't uncheck a checkbox or something.
That happened to me most recently where I entered into a home lottery thing. Sorry, this is a side story, but it's funny because then I didn't want to get the refund. But I entered into a home lottery where it's like only people in Nova Scotia can enter, so the odds are like actually not that bad. I didn't win. Obviously, I'm still in my apartment that I pay exorbitant amount of rent for. But the next like 3 months later, I got charged the same amount of money I paid for like the first round of tickets, and I messaged them. I was like, "Oh, I didn't buy these." Like, "Oh, you signed up for the subscription model." I haven't learned my lesson. I don't remember clicking anything.
You love a subscription. You must be thriving in this modern era that we're in. You're like, I have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus.
I definitely don't check my subscription.
I'm like, Haley, they're bundled now. I have them both separate. That's the premium. I don't know.
But the woman was like, "Oh, like we'll issue you a refund. No worries. Like we'll buy the tickets back." And I was like, "I want these tickets because watch me win. Watch me win now. It's gonna happen.
Those
next
be the
time.
winning tickets. Okay,
If
let
I
us know.
win,
Keep
I'll
us
have the
updated.
Best little news story for the local Nova Scotia paper that I could have sold my tickets back and I didn't. And I got the 2 milli house. I'll keep you.
Wow, front
updated.
page right there.
Yeah.
But I did cancel it after that. I told her I just want these tickets no more, please. Thank you.
So wait, do you know if you won yet?
No, I think it's end of March. So it's soon.
We're
check
rooting
in.
for you.
Yeah.
I'll have you all over for a sleepover and we can have a joint wedding so y'all can move to Canada and it'll be great.
There you go.
Perfect.
It's all we're going to work out.
I mostly just played a ton of Neopets as a kid. I was
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
obsessed with Neopets. I played, all of the mini games just all day. But I guess before that, Haley, I sent you a picture, and I think everyone has seen it already, but I need you guys to perceive this.
All right.
Which is one of my favorite, like, childhood, truly girly games. And it's called Easy Bake Kitchen
This
on
is
PC.
great.
And my parents got me and my sibling, like matching ones of this kind of thing. So they got like a Tonka construction set or tool set or something.
Oh.
And I got this Easy Bake one. This is like, it is a big piece of plastic that like you strap onto your keyboard, and it has all these movable parts. So like you are, it's basically like a big, I'm waiting for you to pull it up so I
I'm
can
pulling
explain
it
it a
up.
little better because
Here.
but you have all these moving parts on it, and it's all about making stuff. So
That looks awesome.
Yes.
so cool.
So there's like a little like mixer. There's a little cup of cream. There's a little egg. Just, plop the egg in. And there's like a little thing of dough that I remember feeling really cool. Like is a really nice
And when you
soft,
press like
rubbery
the
texture.
mixer button, it mixes.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So
This
it's
is
just
cool.
This is like non-virtual VR, which I guess is just reality. As I say that sentence, it's just reality now. I want that now because I feel like, obviously we don't have as many wonky game peripherals. We're past the Donkey Konga era, I suppose, but this is just
It's still in my heart.
this is like what I want. I don't know. How does it work though? Because it's sitting on top of the key. It's like a piece of plastic that's sitting on the keyboard.
that.
It's touching the keys underneath it. So like, I don't exactly know what things map to, but like if you didn't have this, you'd just be pressing like S instead of mix or whatever. Because it's just like hitting the keyboard button below it. But yeah, this thing was really cool.
pin.
I have tried to get one for myself. The thing is, I have not set up like a search alert for it, which I should do. These don't pop up super often on eBay and stuff, and so I don't have one yet, but I loved this thing so much as a kid.
The
And
rolling pin.
I definitely lost that rolling pin.
That's so cool. It must just be smashing all the keys underneath.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
way.
is this from the company Easy Bake Oven? I don't know if that's the name of their LLC. That's so cool. See, because I would have loved this because I had an Easy Bake Oven. And it was really cool. Even though the cakes tasted terrible, I made my dad eat one of them, and God bless him because that thing tasted nasty. I don't know why. It's like, oh sure, you made this. It's
Cooked by
delicious.
the power of light bulb.
Yeah, it's like literally like what you'd eat if the world was ending. It's like the Easy Bake Oven stuff. That's
is
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get a PC until I was like way old, like not way older, but maybe like end of middle school. So it's like what I had the Game Boy. What's it called? It's called the Game Boy. So I didn't really have a lot of it wasn't really thriving, with like feminine content there. Yeah, this is really cool though.
This is amazing.
I want
It
one of
was
these
great,
now.
and you-
See, I'm watching you watch it with like a big smile on your face. So cute.
It's like one of the coolest things I've seen. Like
It's really cool.
joke.
I think this was such a neat idea. And there were a bunch of different like game modes you could decorate, like bake things and then decorate them. There was like a cooking competition and stuff. And then, like I said, my sibling had the Tonka Tools one, which was the same thing but just with a bunch of like screwdrivers and stuff like that. And I also really liked that one because you could you would build like a fence and then paint it, or like build a birdhouse and then paint it and stuff like that. So it was still creative in a certain way. But it wasn't, I don't think that's not the same one. I don't think.
Different one? Different.
No, that's
okay.
different.
Different separate.
That's different. It was,
Tonka game.
no, it was, I think it was called, is it not, it's
gotta
not
be
Power
that
Tools.
one, right?
It's just Tonka Tools, I think.
Tonka Tools.
Tonka
They must have been really
Tools.
successful. They like made several of these variants.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
is
the
this it here?
1998
Tonka
Tonka
Workshop. Yeah, Tonka
Yeah.
Workshop.
Oh.
That's a short. Ew.
I know. Sorry. That's all I can find.
Oh, the sawing is so
Boo.
fun.
Yeah, so you have like a little saw and a screwdriver and a drill and
Cool.
stuff like that. It was a really similar concept that was also pretty cool, but it was definitely not, it wasn't quite as creative, so I didn't like it quite as much, but I still did use this
Bold
one
of
as
them
well.
to not have like tethers to keep it all in one thing. Because yeah, like you were saying, those pieces would get lost so quick.
Just lose
Yeah.
it immediately.
Some of it is tethered, and then some of it, is like it's just a thing, and then if you lose it, you've lost
This
it.
is like the OG Labo kind of vibe of this thing.
That's cool. Did you guys ever have
I
those
had a-
plug and play TV things where you had a little remote? You
Plug
had
and
to-
play.
and you had
Yeah.
to like make decisions. I had one where you were a girl
Oh
in high school.
yeah,
And it was
I had that one too.
Did you? What
And
was
you
it
had
called?
to like,
Dream
it was
Life?
like kind of like Persona, yeah, Dream Life, and it would plug into your TV,
Yeah.
and you had to like make decisions on how you wanted to spend your day and like who you wanted to talk to, how you wanted to like study or not or hang out.
yeah,
It was
like
mine like broke, and I got really sad, but
mine. I still have mine, I think. And I think my sister and I checked online and it was like actually kind of expensivo now kind of thing. But yeah, you pick your
That's
outfit.
cool though to me, because so just speaking as like a, sorry to interrupt, but just
No.
speaking as like someone in the game collecting world, like so much of these girly things have been worthless for forever. Like no one wants to add it to their collection. No one's proud of this. And so like there's not a market for it. And so I actually think it's really cool that some of these things are starting to be a little bit like sought after and expensive. And the sad thing is, like, that Easy Bake thing is like, I think because no one wanted it for so long and there wasn't a resale market for it for so long, it probably is crazy rare because so much of it just ended up in the trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, please explain Dream Life to me because this looks amazing.
Imagine like Persona, but without the personas.
Literally.
And that's
Not the rest
Dream
of the
Life.
game.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, you
So
have
the best part of the game, no,
you
they're
have the
pretty
3
even, but-
meters that's like fashion, lifestyle, and what, Sarah? And friends. And you were
Friends?
trying to like keep them all up in the green. Go to the mall, you choose who you want to go with. You buy new stuff for your room. That was always really fun.
That
Have a
should be our
crush.
game, Friends and Getting Better. Was it Fashion, Lifestyle, and Friends? That's
Yeah.
our new.
Oh my god, it should. But yeah, it's like, which boy do you want to ask to dance? Like, just like literally that was like the whole game. And like me in the basement with my braces was like, oh, I'm
And it was like
Caleb.
a remote, and that just had like 3 buttons, like A, B, C. So it's like you only really had 3 buttons to play with.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't think there was
It was
like
good.
RNG to it, right? It was just one story that you go through. Maybe our better
I think
friends
so,
with
but
someone
you could like
see
pick
more.
different options.
Yeah. Oh, someone just said something to James and he got very mad. I remember the anxiety I
Yeah.
felt when the little negative stuff would show up and someone was pissed at what you said.
Well, you asked him if he was going to sign up for basketball, and he might just be like, what, just because I'm tall?
Yeah.
Are there friends in your class? Yeah, I loved games like that. I need to go find it and see if it still works. I would low key new show plus option. I would play the hell out of that. That'd be so fun. I don't know how it would work though. It's just like Oxford.
Yeah, how do you even hook it up? I feel like like a lot of
do
girls
a-
games kind of ended up like that. Like it wasn't a console, it was like a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about with the stuff, especially in the 80s and early 90s and stuff, and also into the 2000s as well. But like, it really was like boys get video games, girls get like things that are video games, but we're not going to put them on a console. We're not going to like, we
Yeah.
don't believe that girls have like, we don't think that girls are, I mean, they're not buying the consoles for themselves, but like, we don't think that they're going to be able to get both the console and our games for it, you know? Like, it's not... Mom and dad aren't going to decide to buy a whole Super Nintendo for just, you know, if there's just girls in the house, which is probably not true. But I think that is part of what, you know, what kept all of this stuff separate was like, oh, well, do we really think that, like, 9-year-old girls have a Super Nintendo? Like, they probably
Yeah.
don't have one. So we should just make this, if we're going to make something, it shouldn't be on a console. It
Meanwhile,
can be
we
just a
were
game or
frothing
like
at
a
the mouth.
toy.
Like
Yeah.
frothing for those kind of games.
We were
That's-
RPing in Ocarina of Time in the Neopets forums.
we were King Kong around waiting for somebody to make us a Rage Room girly game, and never happened. Still hasn't happened. Is there an equivalent?
And it's
No.
like they had to like validate a lot of girls' games with toys because I had Barbie Magic
Yeah.
Genie bottle and it came with the bottle that
Yeah,
you would
I
hook
do
up to your
actually remember
PC.
What?
And yeah, it was Barbie Magic Genie bottle, to 2000 PC game, and it came with a really pretty genie bottle, and I think it also had a doll too that you could purchase. This was in like the big like I'm a genie in the bottle era kind of thing. And when you took the lid off the bottle, like Barbie would come out in the game of the bottle as a genie, and you could like rub the magic lamp and like
she just
all
was
that
like
kind of
Slay.
stuff with
When
it.
you rubbed it, she just kind of moved her arm a little bit.
Woo!
Oh my god, what? That's so hilarious.
My neighbor had this game. That's very cool.
That's great. And again, yeah, probably like 2 of these still exist that work, but they're still only worth a cent. They should be worth $8 trillion. Oh, don't look at all my cringe
Yeah.
stuff.
I asked my mom, I was like,
watch
Mom,
on
like,
YouTube.
why did I play PC games, Mom? And she was like, well, first she forgot. So thanks, Mom. But then she was like, I just got you what you asked for. And I'm like,
And I think
where
that's
did I
just where that
find
stuff
this?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had girl sections at the like PC in the PC section, you know, like there was an entire small, but an entire market for that. There's probably a whole area where like half the boxes were pink, you know?
When you guys say that, what store are you thinking of? Like Target for Americans was where you always bought?
Kmart, I
Circuit
think,
City.
would be maybe a big thing.
Yeah.
What was it? Game Mart?
Kmart used to exist.
Kmart?
It's basically like
Best Buy,
it's like
maybe?
a dirtier Target and smaller Target.
They don't exist anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, they're done.
Like
They're
Radio
done, and that's
Shack?
fine.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Circuit City was the one that I
games.
went to
Circuit
a lot,
City,
I
was
think.
a big one, yeah.
Like where
Yeah,
would you
'cause
go
it was
to
kinda
buy
like
Game Boy
anymore.
games? Circuit City?
Yeah, and then later Best Buy.
Yeah, we
See,
had
I
Best
would,
Buy.
I probably got most of my games either at GameStop or KB Toys.
Yeah,
Probably.
I eventually
I
started
couple
going
at
to...
Kmart also, but
Yeah,
yeah,
like the Toys R Us, probably.
Yeah, also, yeah, Toys
Yeah.
R Us had a big video game section too.
Hmm.
And like a lot of my like childhood gaming purchases were, and I think that's like a lot of my stuff was driven by like magazines. I think it's probably why I don't have like more. Oh, this girl game I played, because like that wouldn't be covered in like EGM,
Yeah.
like, you know. So it's like, and then we also didn't get too many games. So it's like, okay, you have 8 months to think about what's the one game you want. So I'm like, okay, what's the greatest game that I can possibly buy now? The one exception is when I did first get my Game Boy, my grandma bought it for me, and she was like, I didn't, know what to get. Like, I just got you something because I like the guy, whatever the guy said to get you. Which I'm surprised that one wasn't like a girly game. It was a kid's game, but not a girl game. It was the Smurfs game on Game Boy. And I remember playing it. I can't remember if I told the story oddly enough on this
did that to
podcast, even though we
you?
just started. It was a Smurfs game on the Game Boy, and I remember playing it and being like, "Oh my god, this game is bad!" And it was the
Right.
first game I
Hang
thought
on.
sucked.
Haley, what did you just write there?
The Smurfs.
The
Gamer
Smurfs.
Boy. I'm typing fast.
We
I'm
got
trying
there
to
in the
listen to
end.
Jada
Honestly,
and
that
also
is the
look it up.
one. And the only thing that I liked in this
worst.
game was there was a water rafting part, and that's it. You couldn't jump on the enemies, which I was so mad about because I grew up playing Mario, and I'm like, on Mario you can jump on the enemies and then you kill them, and here you just have to avoid. I'm like, why did they nerf this Smurf?
Janet, if
I
you had
was
to
like the
guess,
hateful guy behind the
Yeah.
counter when this little grandma comes up and goes, "What should I get my granddaughter, who I love very much, for the Game Boy?" And like Harvest Moon was on the Game Boy, okay? But they're like, "Oh, here, it's the Smurfs."
they probably had extra
Yeah.
copies they
Smurfs.
were trying to get rid of. Let's be real.
Yeah, but every
Yeah.
other time for games, we'd write it down and be like, just literally go up to the work and be like, this is what you're gonna buy. Don't go looking for it on your own, especially in the area of like Super Mario World 2, World 3. Like, no, just whatever I wrote down on the paper. Take that to the guy.
But like that's so crazy,
that's what we'll
Janet, for
do.
you, because like you're one of the best like game critics on MinnMax, and that makes sense because like as a child you're like, I got one shot, and it's gotta be the best game.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course you're like picking things apart.
Also,
Like
thank you.
I just bought like 3 discs, and I'm like, they all say "girl" on it. I guess we'll just one of them's
I mean,
gotta be
that would have
good.
been so. The only time I kind of had more of a whimsy was like Blockbuster, because then you could just rent. And it's like, okay, well, that's not as like high
I missed
stakes.
that.
But I
Yeah.
think too, like, my brother just didn't have, that whimsy to him. Like he was a guy, so he's probably just playing whatever. Same deal, just magazine, like whatever's on, whatever E3 showed, like that's what we're gonna play. A couple. I think the only thing that I kind of wish I had maybe dug into more was probably like Sailor Moon content, because I was really into Sailor Moon as a kid. But it was all just based on like what we're consuming, with whether it was showcases or magazines, or in the case of DBZ and Sailor Moon, like TV.
And
Yeah,
like, it's
s'mores.
not like the West got a lot of Sailor Moon stuff. There was,
Yeah,
there
not
were like
really.
not really video
And the
games.
Sailor
for
Moon
that
games were
over here.
fighting games, and I'm like, what little girl watching Sailor Moon wants to play like a fighting game?
Yeah, like I just want to spin. I want to do the spin.
Yeah, I just want
and feel something. That's all.
Was there a lot of like
Okay.
what dress? Sorry, Kelsey. I was about to go down
No, go ahead.
12 more tangents.
No, please,
And
we
our
love the
episodes are all
tangent.
3 hours. So I'm like, what was the sparklest dress you wore in the game you played in the 90s? It's like,
Oh,
It's okay,
I
I'm-
played.
like those dress games were so
Okay,
fun. I'm
they're-
trying to think of examples.
Are you talking about like the browser ones or just like the in general ones? Because I played Barbie Rapunzel, and in Barbie Rapunzel there was a very specific part of it where you would just put together an outfit for Barbie, and you only had like 3 parts of a dress in like 5 different colors. That's all you got. But I would play it for hours, just mix and matching the skirt patterns, mixing and matching my 3 colors. I think it's older than this.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
this-
maybe not.
Oh, does this look familiar?
No. It's definitely
This is like a psychological like
That looks too
reevaluation. Let me know when you see a memory
this?
from your child.
Barbie as Rapunzel.
Yeah, that one.
1997.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, this looks familiar.
That was the one.
Let's find the dress. Let's find her dress. Oh, here it is.
Oh yeah,
go.
there. So, okay, so now you know why I play Infinity Nikki, right? Like this was the mold. This is where it all started.
How much would your kid brain explode if you showed her Infinity Nikki? What would she
I
say?
think
God.
she would just vaporize on the spot. Like I don't even know.
I mean, she's still in there, isn't she? You know, technically
Yeah,
vaporizing.
and she's spending hundreds of dollars on Infinity Nikki as we.
Yeah, as a subscription. I subscribe.
That was
to,
my
like, more
Slay Queen
gems.
dress, the hot pink one with the hearts.
That was your Slay Queen. It's
That's
That was
pretty
my Slay
good.
Queen, and you got to pick out your jewelry.
cute. Oh, you open up the drawers to find new accessories? That's really cute.
Got to accessorize it. But yeah, this is like 20 objects, and I would spend hours.
You're gonna unlock another secret combination
Yeah.
that's never
Yeah, I
been
mean the
done
permutation.
before.
You know, when you do like 20 factorial or whatever, you need to do to kind of math that out.
A cute thing with the browser
combinations are
ones
almost endless.
is they'd be like, "Do you want to print this out?" And I wouldn't. It would be like a paper doll that you could keep and like dress and stuff. That was always really fun. What's wrong with her
I would do-
mirror? Oh my god! Look at him.
I don't know why he's grumpy. He's just grumpy.
He thinks he doesn't
I played
like her
so much
fits,
of this
I guess?
game.
That's so cute.
I did a bunch of the browser ones, especially like the kind of like early to mid 2000s ones that were just the same, hot pixel girl over and over again, and you just put different outfits. And I, at a certain point, because I was a Neopets kid, and so I was already like learning how to code and do all kinds of other fun stuff on the computer. I would just go in and I'd be like, okay, this is a pretty good outfit base. I'm gonna take this into like Paint, the program.
Wow.
And I'm gonna edit her myself and make cool outfits. And do you ever I feel like the biggest lost media in my life is that I saved so many things like that to floppy disks. And I remember we had this container of floppy disks, and it was all just stuff I had made on the computer. And I would give anything to have access to that container of floppy disks
Please,
again.
I just want
Like,
my floppy disks back.
I think I ask my mom every single year, like, as if it's just gonna like open a portal, and she's like, "Oh yeah, here we go. I've kept all these floppy disks for some reason." But no, I think they're gone forever.
That's.
But if anyone just bought floppy disks at a garage sale, and you pop them in, and there's some cute pixel dolls on there, like maybe that was me. Maybe that was me.
Those are mine. I want them back, please.
Yeah, please give them back.
Yeah, the browser games hit different. That's so cute that you would move everything over to Paint. Talk about making the extra effort.
I thought I was gonna make
your own fun.
games. I thought I was gonna make games and stuff when I was a kid, but not like I still didn't really conceptualize that you could like work as a game developer. But I did think that I was gonna like make cool enough pixel art and stuff that like a game would just naturally pop out of that. You know what I mean? Like,
There's still
I
time.
think through the power of imagination and
Yeah, I
manifestation,
didn't-
a game
I
will
think I just-
appear.
I think I just didn't really ever get the chance to think past that because I could never, I could never create enough art that the game would be done. So like I was never on to step 2. It was just like, just make a bunch of art you want to see in a game.
Yeah, I
What do
also
you guys-
thought about. Sorry, I was just gonna say that I also thought I would make games as a kid for like a brief moment. I'm trying to look actually at the VGHF's digital archive because I wonder if I can now finally find the article I've been looking for years. There was an article in one of the old gaming magazines that was the life of a video game developer, and it described a life of intense crunch and hell. And I read that as a kid, and I was
Oh.
like, I'm not gonna do this. I can't do this
I
job.
know
This is
exactly
crazy.
what you're
Has-
talking
and
about.
nothing has
Kelsey, know what
changed.
the
And nothing's
exact
changed.
article-
No, yes, and I remember the art had like it was like a burnout kind of art thing of like a bunch of piles of work, and it was like a guy with like the 5 o'clock shadow, and he's like, I just miss seeing like society, and I was like, oh, this isn't like what I wanted to do. Then I got even older, and I was like, it turns out sometimes you're just still gonna work really hard for no reason, so I might as well have just made the games, honestly. But at the time, it was like a scare. I got scared straight out of video game development when I was like 8. I was like, you know what? Yeah, you
And
keep
instead
it.
you were like, you know what? Video game journalism.
Exactly.
Apparently
Yeah.
not
I was like, wait a
scared
minute,
straight
wait a
enough.
minute. Well, they didn't write an
No, it
article about that. I guess they were scared they'd get fired from the magazine.
No one would
They're
pay
like,
for
our
it.
job's great though. Don't look at me. It's great. It was just stopping today, game media talking about crunch. They're like, this is awful. I'm like, oh, I know. It just continues to crunch them of their own outlet.
What are you guys playing now for your what is your girly game of choice now? Because I think we have like at this point, you know, there's some that are obvious like Infinity Nikki and stuff, but like I feel like we have all expanded our definition a little bit. And whether or not a game is made for girls, I think there's a lot of games that we are definitely playing like girls.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of like an in-between for me is I think narrative games tend to be sort of conceptualized as girl games, or like they're like more femme-leaning. I think part of that, I don't know, men don't want to make decisions. I'm not sure why, but it just feels like that has a very like feminine audience, like Life is Strange and those types of like choice games. It's actually kind of funny looking at, you know, what y'all bring to the table with like stuff like the plug and play game and that being that kind of life sim element. I'm like, I mean, that's a lot of the appeal of some of those choice driven things. It's like, let me act out and explore what these consequences might be. And I feel like there's something femme-leaning there, as well as like puzzle games that are not lower stakes, you still have to solve them, but have like a chill sensibility, you know, titles like Unpacking, things like A Little to the Left, like the kind of like, I feel like a lot of sort of what modern, you know, feminine or like girl games looks like. It's taking some of those like station seeds or genre seeds of what we may have seen in the 90s, but like expanding them, blowing them up, and kind of recontextualizing them. Like A Little to the Left is nothing about that necessarily is like, this is a game that's directed towards women, but at the same time, it like it's in that like wholesome games category of like, of wanting to, do you want to come to a place where things can make sense and you can have order and structure? And is your escape fantasy, you know, besides ripping things as King Kong, also just like having pens in the right order? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, cool, we know, you know?
Yeah.
Especially
That's kind of what
because in
like
a video game,
like.
you don't like, every time I organize my life here, like life keeps happening and it just gradually gets undone. But if you do it in a video game, it just stays that way. Like you're done organizing. You have checked the box and it's over. As opposed to real life where like I conceptually love having my stuff in rainbow order or whatever, but like then I just keep living my life and it gradually falls out of rainbow order, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of times when I am in a RPG I really like, clearing out the map feels very feminine coded, depending on what the tasks are. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just anything, but if it's like, go here and help this person, and then the next time you go see them, their house looks nicer or something like that. It's like, you affected the world, and now that person is happier. And every time you happen to walk by, you'll look and go, oh, that I made them a little happy. That feels so feminine coded in my brain. I will play your game for an extra 60 hours if it has that kind of vibe of like, you did that. See that over there? That was because of you. Being
even just like literally
community.
Even just literally filling out a map sometimes I think feels like, you know, when you like start dusting. Like a
women clean.
Kind of
Did all of you do the thing?
That's such a severe.
Did all of you do that thing with your DS when you're doing like the chat room thing and
you just chat and you color it all in?
Yes, you color the whole thing in.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the best.
Yes. It's like it's that feeling of like order and completion, and it's like something's done and I did it and it can't be undone. You know, it's like everyone just wants to be God, and I feel like especially it's like that kind of hits.
It's also fun to
I feel like any kind of like management. I love any kind of management where it's like, but I don't. So it's like take like Civilization or any of those games where like the goal is to like fight each other. Like even like Manor Lords, my goal is to just make everybody happy. I can never bring myself to like have the people suffer for like the benefit of like some kind of war machine, you know? So it's like I'm just making every game I play, City Skylines, Civilization, Manor Lords, I just make a utopia.
Yeah.
And that's it. We just make as happy as we can possibly be. Like, I love doing that.
Have you played the 2 Point games, Sarah? I feel like you would like them.
I think I might have played one of the 2 Point games. I've definitely played, like, that is, like, my genre, right? Like, any kind of tycoon game I really like to play.
Yeah.
Just love to make everyone happy. It's like people pleasing to unrealistic limits. Like I can't people please everyone in real life, but everyone in my city Skylines town is so happy.
Yeah,
My sicko version of that is when I would play Zoo Tycoon, I would make, because like, you know, all your guests have their different happiness ratings and needs and everything. And I would just make people zoos. So I'd like block them in with a little, like, not the animal fences, but you'd have like brick fences and stuff like that. And I'd block them in and I'd give them everything they need. They'd have, you know, a bathroom and plenty of trash and places to sit and things to look at and like little carousel and everything. And they'd just be happy. They'd be like, this is great. This is what I came to.
The police are on their way now to this people zoo that Kelsey made to shut it down.
I would like if somebody was unhappy. And if they weren't happy, I would take them and I would put them in the lions exhibit and I would let the lions eat them. Or you'd feed them to like the orcas or something.
Yeah.
Did they eat them in that? I played those games.
Yeah, they would eat them, and then all the people would be like, "Ah!" You could like let the animals out, and they would just go. It would be a bloodbath.
I had the triple pack that was like the dinosaurs and aquarium and zoo thing. People don't like getting eaten by dinosaurs.
They don't like when the dinosaurs escape either.
No. Those new Jurassic World games, that's kind of like that. But those games were fun because they have this weird thing where when you go to like stop the dinosaurs from escaping, it goes into a first person mode where you're in a chopper and you have to shoot them with tranquilizers from the chopper.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to like see your park from that perspective. You're like, my park looks really nice. When you're just like in this chopper, like good from here.
Mine didn't look nice. I didn't have enough time to build it out. I was just shrinking dinosaurs trying to save everything. Like it's not going well. But yeah, same deal. Like I also play management games like that. Like I just want like a good town, good stuff. Or I was incapable of playing this well because I didn't feel like the tutorials were there to support me playing it. But the OG like SimCity like 2000 or whatever, I like played that a few years ago. Could not understand what was going on, but I could like make a little river in the shape of a heart, which I enjoy because I did in Animal Crossing New Horizons also. So I think even just like finding ways, almost like what y'all already alluded to with playing, you know, non-girly games in girlier ways, like finding ways to decorate within limitations is just fun because you kind of feel like you almost got away with something, or it just kind of like recontextualizes your creativity. Like that's what I like about the game that you also played, Haley, the Ete game, where it has like objects that you can kind of paint with via stamping the objects down, but you can change the shape and orientation in a way that like recontextualizes the object. So you're like, oh, this is actually the side of a ladder, but I blew it up so that it's like a brown, like a wood brown in the background of the area or something like that.
Yeah.
Really
Same
cool.
with like Monster Hunter that we're both playing right now, Kelsey. It's like I don't fight them. Like the fighting the monster's fun, but it's like I'm here for the armor.
Fighting the monster is very fun.
It's fun, but
don't
it's
get
like,
it twisted.
the end goal for me is like a pretty outfit. You know, like fighting the monster's fun, but like a nice outfit, I would go to the ends of the earth. Like I played all of Elden Ring for like a nice outfit.
I love the way you play Elden Ring. I would watch your stream. I'd be lurking, just like watching. You're like, this is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like it's always just you absolutely murking things because you're so OP. But you'll put on the way worse armor if it's cuter. So it doesn't matter.
Layered armor.
Like, what's the point? You know, if you don't look cute, what's the point of playing?
Yeah.
I feel like transmog, what's it called? Transmog, yeah. But that transmog, because the longer word is too hard for me to say. Like that feels like, I don't know who came up with that, but that feels femme-coded of a decision. Like, yes, like it's about the aesthetic. Like, why can't you have both? Why do they have to be separate? And be able to mix and match that in games is like a godsend to me. Because then you can have it all. Because I also prefer to just look good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing a lot of Monster Hunter right now, and there's some very good options in this game. You get the option to do layered armor pretty quickly or right away. I actually didn't check for a little while, so I don't know exactly when it starts. But the options for changing the pigments on everything is really good. The options for your character creator are really good. There's a ton of hairstyles, a ton of like really
the length changer on the hair.
Yes.
Has any other game done this? But in Monster Hunter, they give you really long hair and then you can like shorten it or lengthen it to get like a different cut entirely, and it doesn't look janky. Like it. But you can't do it
with the shorter hair options, which is kind of a bummer.
We take our wins where we can, though.
Yeah. but it's really good. I mean, like, there are now, I always try to get like a set that is functional first or whatever, but then I'm like, okay, like now we're farming this because I really like these shoulder pads or whatever. Like we're fighting this guy because I need these boots. These are great boots and I will look adorable.
That's awesome. I'm
No,
excited
you're
to
like-
see
you're like-
y'all's fits when we play.
I know,
next.
I'm the opposite of Kelsey. Like, I'm tanking the fire boss in my full ice resistant set. Like,
There's
I don't
layered
care if
armor.
we're gonna you can't, I don't think you can layer until you get to the higher level monsters. Like, the higher level armor is the armor you can layer. So you can't layer like the beginning
Oh.
armor. So like I'm
Okay.
sitting there tanking fire monsters in my ice outfit because I think it looks better. And
Can't
you know what?
Can't you go in the tent and
Live
like
and learn.
even if you have like the fire armor on, you can make it look like the ice armor? Can't you do that?
I couldn't figure that out because I think you can't unless the armor in my, I don't know. I just got to the higher level monster, but I was told that that's the outfits that you can like layer are the super monsters.
I mean, that tracks with, with just how it's worked in the past. Like, you usually don't get layered armor right away, so. But Monster Hunter is a very girly game. I love it.
The palicos, like dressing up your little sidekick,
yeah.
naming them. It's like a little
Mine
pet.
looks
You have a
ridiculous.
horse.
You get little charms for your sacred, the little
Yeah. Oh, you
chocobo
get
looking
charms for
guy.
your weapons.
Yeah,
I have a feline charm on my gun, and I think it's so
that
cute.
rules.
The way you said gun, I'm like, gun.
My gun. I shoot the monster with bullets.
I like taking a game that wants you to be aggressive at making it as cute as possible. Like when I play Red Dead Online, there's like all these tracks where you can be like the dirtiest little western in the West, and you can have all these crazy
The dirtiest dog.
The dirtiest dog. But what I did was I used all my points to make it so my horse could pick flowers for me now. And then I got like
That's so cute.
and then I got like the cutest horse I could find, and like got her the cutest saddle. It's like all my like a lot of points go towards these things, right? You have to grind for hours, and like most people would be like, I'm getting the best gun to shoot other people. I'm like, I can afford the lantern to put on her breastplate so I can see at nighttime when I ride her outside. Like that kind
That's
of
really
stuff
cute.
is like the best. And I remember when the first time I posted like on Twitter or something, like my horse picking flowers for me, and like so many girls were replying like, how do you do this in this game? I play it all the time. I don't know how to do it. I'm like, you're playing the single player, go to online and then you can learn how to do it. And they're like, oh my God, like it's like crazy how it just like lights a fire under people. Like,
I feel like we'd be
Hell yeah.
remiss to talk about like playing games in girly ways that aren't made for girls and not talk about the Red Dead Redemption 2 online writing club.
oh, the like trail ride thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute. I've never done one. I would love to do one, but yeah, people
So
like,
essentially,
collect.
oh yeah,
all
you can go
up.
ahead, Haley.
Oh no,
this is your ballpark.
no.
No.
I've never done it.
Okay. Okay, I haven't done it either, but apparently, so Red Dead Redemption Online, a lot of girls like to play Red Dead Redemption 2 because it has such great like horse mechanics and like riding mechanics, and the map is so vast and it's so long. So these girls would get together on like Red Dead Redemption 2 Online, and they would all do trail rides together where they would just line all their horses up and they would do like a path around the map. And like they probably weren't like necessarily like chatting or anything, like maybe they one or two people, but it was essentially just like getting to do that what they couldn't do in real life, which was like, getting a horse and getting on the trail, they could do together in Red Dead Redemption 2 Online. Or is it just Red Dead Online?
love
Red Dead
that.
Online. Yeah, you could like load up your horse and like take to the trails, and the maps are gorgeous, and I love that.
It was like role playing Saddle Club. Quite literally, it's like I can never afford a horse, but I can ride with like a hundred other girls all in a giant trail ride all together, just like running around. And there'd be such great clips where like if dudes did come in and like disturb the peace, they're all still really good at the game too. So they'd be like collectively 100 women just shooting a guy once, and then continuing on
Like
with their
tying him to the
trot.
back of their horses and dragging him along.
And then just continuing their trot through like the woods.
This sounds
So it's got it all. It's even got the murder, that we were talking about earlier.
A little appeal. They'll never start the
Yeah.
murder, but they'll end it on the Red Dead 2.
I think
trail
in general, like open world / RPG definitely feels like girly coded in what we've already talked about with like armor sets and things, but also just like thorough exploration. Like, and kind of, I feel like those games are at their best when you feel like your adventure is almost unique to you, even though obviously there are like things that are very authored if it has like a campaign, or even just like, I always want to give a nod to like the ways that things that feel unique to like your experience as a player are very much like authored and constructed by like really good designers who can create opportunities to feel like, wow, like this is never like, like the Breath of the Wild, like jumping off of like, the top and then landing on that horse. It like feels so like special and different, but it's like, yeah, well, they made it so that you could feel like, oh my God, no one's ever lived this life before. But yeah, I think those things are really exciting. And they tie into what we mentioned before too, with like the map fog. That's what I did in Horizon. Like I love that game. And I also got really sick at one point. Like I had COVID and I was like, this is a great time to get that platinum. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get the platinum, I'm gonna get my own other stuff, which is like cleaning the map fog, which the only thing I hate is that there's like an area at the end of the game that is permanently fogged because it only appears like for the final mission and you can't like fly to it. You can like fly like and just close it out and I'm like, oh, my map, my beautiful map. But
I know you were like, what the, like as you were trying
I'm
to
like, I probably like at the time went on like social media like, can anyone update this to like change the, someone please? I know you read my tweets, or Blue Sky posts at this point. But yeah, like that being fun, or just even because I like the gameplay of like fighting the, that's my Monster Hunter because it's easy and like I don't have to read. I was like, oh yeah, this is like still fight big monster with symbol. Being like, okay, I need to upgrade an armor set fully, but I'm going to choose to do like the harder one because it's like more exciting, even though I don't need it. But it's like just something to chase and be invested in. I feel like is what everyone's really looking for, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is also a really good segue into our mini segments, because we're going to do a really fun challenge mode that I'm excited for, which is we're going to try to turn random games into a girly game or explain how they are already girly games. Are we excited for this? I'm excited for this.
Hell yeah, we essentially have been trying to do it with King Kong.
I mean, we've already been.
We're already prepped. Like we're ready. That was the warm up.
That was the warm up.
Janet, do you want to explain this challenge?
Yeah, this is take any game and try to make it a girl game / try to emphasize what is girly or femme-leaning about it. For this, I went on our social media. We are PPB Bang on Blue Sky. And I just posted, reply to this with the name of any game for secret upcoming episode reasons, which shout out to y'all following along and just always indulging my very cryptic posts of like, I can't tell you, but I need you to give us your deepest, darkest secret into this Google form. People are down
Girls
for it.
love
So
secrets.
I took a bunch of them, couldn't get everything in there just for sake of, I had to cut off time before we started recording, but people sent a couple dozen over rather quickly. So we put those in there. We padded it out with a couple ones here and there from like the MinnMax 210s over the years or a couple games that came to mind. And now we will spin the wheel at the iconic Wheel of Names, where if you watch anybody stream, you probably have seen the Wheel of Names appear before. But yeah, we'll see what we get and then just go with it. So whenever you're ready, Haley, you could spin the wheel. You're the master of the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
It's
spinning.
audio listeners. It's spinning like crazy. Okay.
Oh my gosh, what's going to be here?
What is this?
Robosport?
Wait a sec.
Oh man.
Did we get the one that we don't know?
This computer game,
told
Robosport. Who
you
could
to
forget the
take it off.
1991 turn-based iconic game, according to Wikipedia? Taking turns?
Oh, this is a Maxis
so
game.
femme-leaning. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Oh.
I think all Maxis games are girl games,
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Is this it? Robosport? What I'm looking at here on the stream?
I think
I
so.
wouldn't know.
The very
So
same.
this is a turn-based tactics game. This is one
planning.
I
Very
have
girly.
seen this, but don't know hardly anything about this.
Get
But
out
this is a
your
PC
bullet journal
game.
and plot some ideas, I think turn-based tactics very girl-leaning. You're planning, you're strategizing, you're destroying things.
I do think tactics games can absolutely be just pretty straight up feminine coded. I mean, so many of them are about like war, but the actual planning and execution part, I mean, we love that.
Who's getting that done? let's be so for real right now. Who's actually executing on a plan? All right, that's us.
I do.
There you go,
I do
Robosport.
love optimizing things. Like that's one of my favorite. Like figuring out the systems, and then once you do, just like absolutely breaking it with your skills and knowledge. That is.
Yeah.
Is that a fellow feminine experience, or is that universal? I feel feels pretty feminine. I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys.
I mean,
think we
so
take
many
that
of
one.
these things might be kind of universal,
I
but
like
I also
the tiny
think that
trees of this.
Oh, I do too.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I like how they're
Decorations.
breaking walls like King Kong.
Yeah, there's something for every lady in your life in this game.
I do think a good like crumbling wall, especially one that gets kind of like smaller before like it doesn't just get destroyed. It like kind of caves in and crumbles a little bit and then is all the way gone. Like that's
A changing
kind of
environment.
a changing environment. Yeah, and just I think being able to like watch your environment be affected in real time is
Yeah, community impact again. This goes back to what
for
Haley
sure.
was
Yeah,
saying
community
before.
impact. Exactly.
This is like planning community impact game. Yeah, we never said we were improving the community exclusively. Okay, we're out here. We have, our hands are in the dough. That's all that really matters here in this. So yeah, I think we nailed it.
I think we nailed it. 1992 RoboSport.
Okay, RoboSport.
Yeah.
Girlified.
Girl game.
Girl game.
Oh, you got the Amiga port of RoboSport.
Oh
guess
gosh.
so. All right. But that will.
Yeah, there's no
Amiga?
better place to play.
Amiga instead of
Exactly.
Amigo.
Oh,
Finally.
Just saying.
This is the game girls we have this conversation right now. Oh my god, Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries.
Mercenaries. What is
Again, the murder, the mechs.
Oh.
A mech is just a doll. Let's be so real, are you?
That's
Okay.
a really good
That's so
point.
true.
What
Yeah.
is this?
Mechs
That is-
really are
yeah.
just big dolls.
Your doll was just boxier than the
Yeah.
ones that we probably were given, but
I do think
Yeah.
what would make this game girlier, though, is if you were not doing so much in first person, so you could see your mech a little
yes,
bit more, you know?
Right?
yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
do you get
yeah.
to like customize your mech in any way? You know?
Yeah, I
You
think
get
you
the
can
color
get
of your
upgrades and
mech.
stuff in this game. So being
Yeah,
able
the
to see, like,
customization.
okay, I have this different arm now. I've added a different, like that.
the mechs
I
are
think
looking
that
a
would
little
improve this.
boxy. They're looking a little
Yeah.
wearing a dress to church.
But that
kind
one's
of
got like tiger
energy.
stripes on it. Very slay.
That's very slay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this
Very
cover.
fashion.
Oh. Get some more gameplay in here. April 3048. They're really envisioning. What is this video I found about this game?
Oh my god.
Some random ass stuff going on. Here's a remastered intro, so we get to view it in all its.
As it was meant to be seen.
As
This
it
is how
was
people
meant to
saw
be
it at the
seen.
time, yeah.
Yeah. This is how our girl child brains would have viewed it if we had gotten access to this. But we weren't
But yeah,
allowed.
Without
girls.
knowing a little bit more about the customization, because I didn't play much of Armored Core 2. Is it 2? No, 6? I don't know. Which one just came out? The Armored Core game that just came out.
That was 6.
But I'm like 2, 6? I don't know. It's something. Yeah, Armored Core. The thing I did do in that game, though, was make Sailor Mech, which was some mech that looked like Sailor Moon. I don't think this is as robust, but, limitations sometimes bring out the best creativity amongst us, so.
I will say when I played Titanfall 2, I got a little crush on the mech that helped you.
Yeah, you're into robots is something that's what we've kind of gleamed over there. Wait, there's that Overwatch one that you said was hot.
Oh,
He has his ultimate with a gun.
Bob?
no.
No,
Which one?
Haley, you know who I'm talking about.
Bastion's
Bastion?
It's not
Yeah, when the
God,
gun's just
Haley.
shooting.
It's not Bastion in and of itself. And then when
I
Ben
gave you
made
the
the
benefit
clip,
of
he
the doubt.
chose the wrong gun, like a man would. He showed off his cannon when I was obviously talking about his sentry turret, as any woman would agree. Anyways,
A man would think that the size would make it more impressive than the motion.
so true. It's the motion, not the size. How many times do we have to say this to you, boys? It is the motion, not the size. Bastion sentry turret, not Bastion's cannon. That's the final time I'll say that.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
So on that note, I give you Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries.
I could have a
This
little
is a
crush
tough
on.
one.
I could have a little crush on the robot when I was younger. I think
I like that you hang
Yeah.
out with your friends
yeah.
together when your
That's
arms
true,
get cut
yeah.
off in the field of battle.
You are, you're walking around and you're doing stuff with your friends.
This
And
is
I
girls
kinda-
being girls.
I kind of like when you're inside the mech. You see how this is like your area with your trinkets and stuff. It's like almost like you're in a terrarium, and it's like this is my module. Maybe if you can
My little
you know,
computer screen.
my little
bobblehead.
module, yeah.
Yeah.
module. If we could customize the inside of it, even I'm talking one item, immediate 20 girl points
Yeah.
to this game.
Yeah. I do
Yeah.
feel like this is a tough one. I feel like this would take very little to become a huge girl game. And yeah, I think it's just being able to put a couple trinkets inside and being able to see outside your mech and maybe customize it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to
That's
see
it.
your mech would be key.
Yeah. Yeah, what do we got right now? I think it's just kind of, I mean, you're just hanging out with other mech friends. That's kind of cute.
Girlified.
Girlified,
Yeah.
we did it.
We did it. The mech is hot. Next game.
Yeah, the mech can be hot, exactly.
All right. Ooh, what
I'm
you
so
got?
excited to see what's gonna come up here. Oh my gosh.
Easy.
Finally.
Easy.
No, it's
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so for
listeners,
audio
all right.
listeners, it just
Who could
slipped
forget?
off of
It
Skyrim,
was
which
an
is probably
inch away.
one of the easiest games to girlify.
Okay,
No, I
but
will say
Sarah,
there's a girl on the cover,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes,
Not only
this
is
is
it a
for
girl
me.
on the
There's a
cover-
girl on the cover. She's blonde.
blonde girl.
Girl game.
Oh my god.
For
wait,
me.
this
Yeah, boom.
looks-
Made for me.
Sarah, this is for you.
It's for me.
This is actually
Oh my god.
No, Radiata Stories is already, I think all JRPGs are very easily already girl games, especially
agree.
like the environments in this game are beautiful. I've not beaten this game, but I've fired it up.
lovely.
This game's
It
cute.
looks-
Oh, I love the little art style. The eyes are really big.
The
That's
huge,
cute.
Yeah.
huge eyes.
It kind of looks like Tales of Symphonia a little bit, is what it reminds
I'm
me
feeling
of.
it.
It kind of looks like
Yeah.
Twilight Princess too.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I'm looking at
It's a
the
really-
Wikipedia entry on it, and it mentions that you can kick furniture and other inanimate objects. I feel like,
Wow.
is that not what we just talked
Incredible.
about? The tactile feeling, that the
Yeah.
feminine urge to have a
Sarah!
tactile interaction with a piece of furniture.
That's
Sarah's
Sarah.
in this game.
I would absolutely have bought this game if I saw the cover of it as a kid.
Yeah.
This game looks really cute. Actually,
And
I wanna
there's
play this game.
magic. Is that guy a magical fairy? Does he have wings?
Oh my god.
Magical tree man?
Asking magic is the other.
And notice how everyone is
Either
like
piece of
fully
this formula.
clothed too, which I think also kind of leans more towards like a
Yes.
girl
Yeah.
game. Like the clothing seems very like thought out and well designed.
Yeah.
They're visiting the city of flowers.
Oh my god.
Hello.
This is slam dunk.
This is just
This
a girl game we
also-
hadn't heard of yet. We don't even have to work for this one.
I didn't realize about this game, but this one apparently has a kind of
That'd be spoilers.
early version of a system where like NPCs have their own routines and lives and everything, and so you, yeah, everyone's got their own different like lives and personalities and jobs and stuff, and so you like the world is alive. I just feel like a living world is a very
Yeah.
I love that.
Girl-
I'm putting this on my
thing.
like to play list. This
I
actually
know,
looks
I
Yeah.
kind of want to play this.
This is cute.
Okay.
I wanna play it
It's
too.
cute.
Girl game. Girl game.
Girl
we just-
game.
We just
Game.
hadn't heard of this girl game, but it's a girl game. So that's all. Thanks for showing us
That's
that
easier
girl
than
game,
Skyrim.
beautiful listener. That
Alright,
was a
where
lot
does the
easier
wheel
than
land?
Mech Warrior or whatever, too.
Yeah, and the other
I
mech
stand by our
one.
MechWarrior arguments. Oh my gosh.
The wheel is
Oh.
spinning.
Please.
It
Yes.
goes so
Sarah, this is all
close.
you. This is Outer Wilds.
Outer
is the poll.
Wilds.
Outer Wilds, the feminine urge to explore the vast emptiness of space, and I feel like what I find so feminine about Outer Wilds is you're basically like exploring like a dead civilization, but like you kind of it parallels your own, so you kind of have to deal with empathy going into it. You know, like the civilization has been kind of like wiped out. So I find, and you are currently in a situation where your civilization is about to be wiped out. So you're trying to sort of like look into this history. Also, like the feminine urge to just like fly into the sun
Yes.
and explode is
Yeah.
so for real.
We've all had that.
It's a very eatable kind of systems in here.
And I feel like I think what I like about Outer Wilds is it puts you in a mindset that you are not the center of the universe, which I feel like a lot of women resonate with too, is like you are but a speck in this universe, and like you kind of have to, no spoilers, accept like this like existentialism type thing, you know, like you're constantly thinking about other people and like where you exist in the grand scheme of things, and like why, and like I don't know. It's so a very feminine game.
I respect
also,
that
like,
there's
all the-
things bigger than you out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also like all the hot goss from like the notes on the slabs of stone
Yeah,
of like
that's a
them doing
good
the
point.
research and being like, oh my God, like I think you're cute too. And there's like just different like dramas, like there's interpersonal dramas like amongst the people who are also doing research that you were then kind of not re-uncovering, but
Also,
like looking
everybody
at and
plays
trying to
little
contextualize.
instruments.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a jam session at a certain point. There's also a big fish. So there's something there. I don't know.
It's an anglerfish, and anglerfish are women, right? Like
yeah,
the
there's
big
something
ones. with
provocative
the
about
little...
it. Oh, are they actually?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yo,
know that.
I was just saying words. Okay.
Yeah,
Rare
like with the
dub.
little like
Let's go.
lights. Those are always female.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Then that's honestly, that is like one of the most iconic like visuals of the game for me, like in my time with it. Yeah, there we go.
Love it. I also love
Easy.
you can use your radio to like listen in on other people. A little eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to find
Quantum
something.
physics.
I love a little quantum physics.
Yeah,
moment.
also the quantum physics. Yeah. Grappling with gravity, I think, is kind of at the core of.
Trying to park my spaceship, and I can't park a car, and I can't park a spaceship. But you know what?
Not you leaning into the women can't drive stereotype, Sarah. Spin the wheel.
Just really quick as a treat. Just really quick as a treat. We all get one stereotypical comment to make.
All right, we got. It loves to go right to the freaking edge.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII
Yep.
Rebirth.
We just skipped over Duke Nukem, which would have been
That would have been great.
Oh my
probably
gosh.
a more interesting conversation.
The murder.
but-
Probably murder driven. I think Rebirth, Aerith's moves are like very girl coded. She's a mage. She like spins her little staff around. She has like really beautiful animation work for the different things that she can like place on the ground to provide buffs, which I think is really cool and girly. There's a big scene, not big scene maybe because the game's so long. I'm like, which one was more impactful? But you pick flowers in this game. I feel like flowers are definitely like, you know, a core visual motif in Final Fantasy VII, especially this broken out trilogy that kind of examines them in a deeper way. And you kind of see them reappear both in the main quest and the side quest. I think being
Are
able
we
to address
forgetting the
chocobos-
obvious? No, we're forgetting the
How's
obvious.
hot?
Sephiroth.
Hot?
Sephiroth's hot.
Janet's panic. Cloud is hot.
I was like, Cloud's hot? Someone's hot? Someone's
Who's
hot?
hot?
Zach's hot? I don't know. Actually, everyone's kind of hot in the game. I think there's something,
Yes.
but not in a creepo way. There's something kind of girly
Yeah.
about that.
Everyone
Yeah.
is just beautiful.
I love how also it's like the two girls feel pitted against each other, but they don't feel that. They don't care.
No.
They're like, that's all on you guys, external to us. We're friends. Like, we get along. It's like everyone's always
Yeah.
like, oh, Aerith or Tifa.
Maybe
Aerith or
more, you
Tifa.
know?
How about they're
Aerith
friends
and
and they don't
Tifa.
even think
Together,
you're cute?
alone, you
How
know?
about that? Yeah. How about they think you're ugly and they're having a slumber party? F you. That's how I feel about Final Fantasy.
I do think it has
Girlify.
like a girl gang kind of vibe to it with those
Just hanging
two.
out with the gang.
And they have like some of the best like fighting kind of sequences between each other within like the, I mean, we're talking about Rebirth specifically, but still. Yeah. Oh, also Yuffie's in here too. Yeah. There's like, this is, I mean, and you can build your party. Like I would always build like, when given the opportunity, I try to build like a girl gang whenever I can in a game.
Yeah.
I'm like, unfortunately, Cloud has to be here for mechanical purposes that I just have to choose. But it's really
Right.
just,
Now that I think
Can I
about
interest
it,
you in Monster Hunter?
oh my gosh, I don't want to read
The
though.
heck of a
Kelsey
girl
is just
gang.
reading. I don't want to read on the tutorials.
Don't read.
yeah,
don't need to read.
You don't need to read. And
I'll
You know,
just-
people keep
I'll
telling me that.
explain-
Yeah.
I'll explain everything to you. It's fine.
have you guys
Maybe
ever
one day.
clocked that the Rebirth / like Final Fantasy crew is kind of giving like the MinnMax crew, and that's like sneaky,
Oh my
mostly
God.
women, and like no one complains about it.
Ooh.
That's so interesting.
It's like so many other JRPGs.
Oh my God, does this
there's
play about
one,
us?
There's like one girl, and then like in Rebirth, it's like there's 4. It might almost be the exact ratio. Wait, now that I think about it, to men to women, if you think the Red 13 is just a boy and not like a weird lion thing. That can be.
Wait, you have a
Kyle,
magical
but-
companion, Red 14, 13, what's his name? Magical companion animal?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a girly thing.
That's a
Yeah,
really thing.
Totally.
that's true.
Yeah.
Magic Knight Rare.
Yeah.
This is a girly game.
Yeah.
Done.
yeah.
Also
Girl gang,
movables, even
easy.
though controversial design for the remake Rebirth pairing, but
It's got birth in the name. How can it not be a girl game?
I'll say it's birth.
Who else is
it's
giving
birth in
birth?
there. Exactly.
Go Star Wars.
It hates Skyrim. It's always right next to
Is
it.
this Charles?
Like, oh, Star Wars.
Did Charles
This was
do
Charles.
Of course
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
This is
actually what
absolutely.
Charles was doing.
This is the exact kind of destructible environment that women crave. Because we're not trying to like kill people necessarily, but we do want to just clear an area, just destroy all the things, just crumble all the things into pieces. I think the Lego games are so good at that. You can just hit everything and explode everything. And it's so
I think
satisfying.
it's a game where there are no mechanical wrong answers because the answer is yes. Like you want to destroy everything. And also like build. It's like a very like flow state kind of structure because you're constantly either destroying or building and they're all like the same input pretty much.
Were you guys Lego kids growing up? Did you like to play Lego?
No, I was a Playmobil kid.
The actual
Because the
yeah, I was a
Playmobil had
Bionicles
princesses.
kid.
That's fair.
What?
Bionicles? Wow.
Yeah, you could
Whoa.
collapse them. They had one girl Bionicle, Gally, the blue one, was like canonically a
Gally?
woman because they're like,
Shut up.
let me.
Wait,
Yeah, it's
hang
like,
on, I have to look her up.
Hold
Why
up.
did I
Look up
never?
Gally.
Maybe that's not how it's pronounced, but the fact that I never clocked that, Sarah, I don't know what's going on in my life.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Well,
I can't tell you.
look, I was a child, and I spoke as a child, and I thought as a child.
It's
G-A-L-I.
Yep.
Apparently,
Here she
yeah,
is.
and like she's canonically a woman. She looks the same as all the other
Does she
ones
have
like, that are
breasts?
men.
I can't
Does
tell
she?
if
I don't
she
think
has
so.
breasts or not. Or
I
just
think
like
they all have a chest plate. They all have that kind of
Okay.
chest plate. Yeah.
Wow,
I
so
think she
real and
just has a
forward thinking
chest
of
plate.
them.
Yeah, and they were just like,
Okay.
oh, you know what? Let's make one of them a woman. So
I'm actually impressed. I was expecting this to be like a robot that was somehow very like
Hot or
huge hips,
something? Yeah.
huge. Yeah. But this actually just kind of looks like all the dude Bionicles.
I love
so.
that.
Yeah.
Aw, I love that for Kid Janet that she had a girl Bionicle to play
Yeah.
with.
I was like, what's one of that one? The one with the hooks is the girl. I don't know.
That's cute.
That's just what it was.
Oh my god, guys! I'm on the Bionicle wiki. There's
Oh, the
like
lore
10
goes deep.
paragraphs about her
I
early
literally
life.
was just reading that.
The lore of I never
Yeah.
got into it, but the lore of the Bionicles is like ridiculous, redonkulous. Honestly, that's how ridiculous it is that I have to
Well-
change the vowel up.
Obviously, like the other Toa, she came into being on Arctaka and was later transported to
course.
Daxia. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why are you even
They're like,
telling
you know
us
what
that,
children
Kelsey?
need?
Obviously.
An intensely rich backstory. As backstory is so rich, you're choking on it.
This is
That's what the kids
this
crave.
has so many like proper nouns in it that
Yeah.
I think it would take me a solid couple of months to fully understand the Bionicle.
What is going on here? I literally just read this sentence. Dalu used her twin chargers to amplify Gally's sense of sight, turning her temporarily insane. She could see places where time and space had no meaning. She could still see when she closed her eyes. See what I mean about
The
Outer
urge to see
Wilds?
places of time and space that have
The
no
urge
meaning.
to like see time and space and succumb to the madness.
Yeah.
Feminine.
You guys,
she was like,
Lego
girl, yeah.
Star Wars. We all know Bionicles
Oh,
are for
sorry.
girls. Because clearly, look how we all tangentially ran to them. Do we...
Also, I had the ones that you could roll them up and throw them like a little ball. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean,
Great
Lego
design.
kind of gives what you were talking about with Horizon. Like, I want to fill out every corner of the map. I want to smash every single thing that's in this level.
Yeah,
Same urge.
absolutely.
And
Is there
There's
anything
no,
from the
like-
Star Wars bit that can be salvaged into the feminine urge to ship characters? I don't know. That's kind of like what people go to Star Wars for, just like
I mean, there's
shipping
also
over
just
and over.
like just being able to play as like Princess Leia or whatever is cool.
Yeah.
There's good female characters in Star Wars.
It took them a couple tries. But
Yes.
besides Leia was always the GOAT. But after that, there was
The weird
like
brother
one
sister moment
other
was a
girl.
little bit of a choice, but you know, we just kept on writing past that.
When there's only one woman in the galaxy, he's got to kiss somebody. It's going to be his sister.
Hey. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't make sense for him not to kiss his sister. What are you talking about? It's like,
So,
I don't think this guy should work here anymore.
Lego Star Wars is girly, but what's the most girly Lego game? Probably the new Horizon Zero Dawn Lego game.
The
Oh, because you
girliest
can like
Lego
build
game.
towns and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, you decorate your base.
Other than like
Um,
the obvious answer is like there's a Lego Friends 3DS game or whatever, which is their
Lego City
Oh,
Undercover because it's the best
line.
one.
But
Oh.
I think yeah, I think Horizon's a pretty good answer.
I did love the Harry Potter Lego games growing up. I definitely replayed those over and over. And Lego Indiana Jones was a vibe too. I'd be loving that game. Maybe that one's pretty girly. It's got the whip. Who doesn't love a little whip moment?
What girl doesn't
was
love
that?
a whip?
What was that Lego game? Was it technically, does it count as a, I mean, it was a Lego game, but I assume it's from this, I don't know if it's from the same developer, but the story one that was on Apple Arcade about like a father and Lego Builder's Journey.
What?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I think that's the girliest Lego game.
Why? About
Probably.
a father and son?
The bond of father and son, yeah. A family. Appreciating a good family. But also,
This
like, it
is
has
so
like,
cute.
it has stellar art, incredible sound design, and like really chill environmental puzzles. like
What-
the
what's it
feminine
called,
urge to make
sorry,
sense of your
Janet?
surroundings.
Lego
Lego
or
Builder's
build-
Journey.
Let's see.
It's not a very good
Yes.
title, but
Lego Builder's Journey. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
this
like
game's
the
so-
this
best
is
looking thing you've ever
beautiful.
seen. It's so nice.
I played a
It
little
looks
this.
so
This was
good.
great.
Yeah,
Why won't it load?
just laying the pieces down, create your own path.
It's so
Yeah.
pretty. It's like the prettiest looking game I've ever seen in my life. Sorry that the stream won't run it for some reason. It's
Apparently, we
just
just
blacking
can't.
out.
They don't want to see it. They don't want
They
to see
don't
the
want to
truth, which is
show
that this
it.
is a really good.
Hello, YouTube.
This is a really
There
good
we
game.
go. Yeah, this game.
I am
so
super
pretty.
jealous of the like Lego Friends stuff that came out because like when I was a kid there was like no girly Legos, so I got
Yeah.
Playmobil, which is fine because like Playmobil
I
had like
liked
castles
Playmobil.
and ponies and princesses, but you know it wasn't Legos.
I liked the horses in Playmobil. How they got really skinny in the middle, and then you kind of just like.
so you
slap
could
them
put
in
your
from there.
Playmobil people on them.
Yeah, and you put the saddle on it, like clipped at the bottom, and then you put them in. That was fun. Whereas the Lego ones, they just are standing in the center of its spine like idiots. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even look right.
I don't know how to ride a horse.
They don't even know how to ride a horse. Yeah, exactly.
Stupid. Builder's Journey is a girl game too. All right, I'm spinning the wheel. Last spin of the wheel for real.
Well, the final spin.
I hope we
The
finally get Skyrim.
finals. What the heck is
No.
going on?
Oh.
Ye are Kung Fu.
Okay,
All right, this is an arcade game.
Why do you know this already?
That's
know this?
already so.
I told you that Kelsey knew every game that ever came out.
What is this?
You're Kung Fu. I love
You're
that.
a
There's a girl
Kung
on the cover. So Sarah, you would have fell for this.
Okay.
You would have fell for this
Wait.
game. They would have got you.
Before we do anything else, this was developed by Hamster. Hamster.
Hamster?
It's Hamster and Konami, the Hamster Corporation. It's
Oh, that's a great.
hamsters are girl coded. So
Yeah.
Boom, yeah.
That's
That's-
about all we got so far.
yep.
You're kicking a man in the groin numerous times. That's pretty girl coded.
I actually think this game is really pretty.
The
I like
back.
the
I was just
background.
thinking like
Yeah.
the backgrounds are really beautiful, like pixel.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at Star. She's
There's a girl
crazy.
in it called Star. Yeah.
She was doing
She's
triple
great.
hits.
Look at her go.
Oh, she throws stuff. Oh, her kick is everything.
The feminine
Yeah.
urge to high kick.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is like
Oh!
a very early fighting game, like just before this was really a genre. And obviously it's not great, but I think it's really cool. It's certainly cool looking. Honestly, I just think the art in this game is really good for the time period.
Yeah.
The background, like, genuinely stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty.
Art.
Being a
We are
trendsetter.
looking at the arcade version,
Why is she
by the way, which
Popping
is
her butt up just because she lost and she immediately like did the butt pump up on the ground. That's a little bit
I always
male-coded.
angrily twerk on the ground when I lose.
What
do you mean?
With your face.
Slamming like Beyonce?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. So is
Yeah.
it just the backgrounds are girly coded?
I think the background. There's a girl on the cover.
Okay.
She kicks. High kicks.
This, in a way, this game was like a trendsetter in its genre. The feminine urge to trendset. I think that's
true.
that's something.
Love that.
Yeah.
And the background's cute. Girl game.
Yeah. And in the movie The Office Space, Jennifer Aniston's character says, "Oh my God, I love Kung Fu." So I feel like Kung Fu, that's for the girls now because she
Nice.
said it so dramatically. They zoomed in on her face when she said it. She really felt that in her soul when she delivered that line. So shout out to Jennifer Aniston, you know? Try to mention her once an episode.
She's honorary PP Bang.
Yeah.
Well, here's some honorable mentions. Breath of the Wild, girl game. Control, girl game. Kingdom Hearts, girl
Control Sage,
game.
girl game.
Yeah, every Yakuza game, girl game.
Chibi Robo girl game.
Girl
Yeah.
game. Duke Nukem, as Kelsey pointed out, girl game. Tetris, girl game. Almay 2, girl game. That is such a girl game. Skyrim, best girl game of all time.
All right, we did a great job with that, I think.
Yeah.
We
So
got like the
we're
hardest
I
ones.
think we slayed
I think
that
we
a
did.
little.
Yeah, we did great.
We got all the hardest ones in a row.
I think we might have kind of failed on Mech Warrior a little bit, but that's okay.
I still stand by they're just dolls. How is that not enough?
Yeah, we should have ended it there. That was the best thing that was said.
They're
that whole
dolls.
time.
They're hot.
Yeah, we should have taken that W when Janet handed it to us.
Okay, now it's time for our show and tell segment, which of course is our girliest gaming items. Which I hope all of you have many,
I have
but
money.
you don't have to show many.
Okay. I won't.
Sarah, I can
You
see
can.
Minnie behind you as you sit there.
All right.
Is my neon froggy chair, is that a girly gaming item?
Absolutely.
It's so cute.
Who wants to go first?
I took this to mean like literal video game object, like
Sure, yeah.
a thing you can either play a game on or like a controller or accessory or something like that. Screw it, I'll go first.
Love it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Go, Kelsey.
Go, Kelsey,
It's
go.
not behind me, it's next to me. I have a growing collection of pastel PSPs.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
Those-
so beautiful.
I want those so bad. Those look sick.
They are really nice. I'm missing the pink one. There's a pastel
I
pink
love
one
look
that I
so
really
good.
thought I
them
had.
together.
So Easter.
They're so
They're also in
beautiful.
prime condition. Did you just wipe the
No.
screen recently? Like,
No,
what's going
okay. This one is in prime condition, which is like the mint one.
Oh, I love
This
mint
one,
ones.
you probably just can't see it on the camera very well. This is the Hannah Montana purple one. This has a giant gouge in the
Wait.
screen,
on? Oh, yeah.
but
That's so cool,
Does
though.
it
Are
have
these,
Hannah
but
Montana on the back?
Can I see the
No.
What makes it Hannah Montana?
thankfully, because I actually wouldn't want that. I want them to all be just nice, beautiful.
Nice colors.
You hate him?
Yeah.
I forget. PSP.
I don't
region
hate
lock?
Hannah Montana.
Yes, no?
No, region
remember.
free.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, great.
Because I played.
Oh, those
Japanese
are
games.
so
That's great.
sick.
I miss the PSP, you guys.
Me
Those look
Same.
so. The
That was
PSP
the
had so
perfect
much
size.
swag.
It wasn't cringe. You can
It
take
was-
that out at the doctor's office and not feel cringe. If you take out the Switch
Yeah.
at the doctor's office, cringe.
It's
if you
or
take
with
out
the
a
Steam
PSP,
Deck.
cute. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
So
God forbid
I-
a Steam Deck at the doctor's office.
Another thing that makes the PSP, I think the PSP, tied only maybe with the SP because you can do that sassy little close. The PSP is one of like the girliest handhelds too because it has that spot for the keychains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why did we veer away from that? That's such a pretty collection.
Thank you.
Consoles.
I was going for a like pastel consoles collection for a while, so I've got that Tales of Symphonia mint
Nice.
green GameCube.
Oh. That's so
That's so
sick.
good.
I'm gonna let Kelsey
bonus-
go first. She has all the coolest.
bonus,
stuff.
I
I was
have
thinking
my
that too. I feel poor
Sakura
now.
Tyson Dreamcast controller with matching VMU.
That's so cute. What a good pink too. It's like a
Yeah.
pale pink, but I don't know. It looks really good though. It doesn't look.
I know. It's
I
all
don't
about
know.
the shade, eh? That's the
It's the right
perfect
shade,
pale
yeah.
Pale pink.
Yeah,
A vibe.
that's really nice.
Are you still looking
Mine's
for
in a
the pink
similar
one?
vein.
It's one of those things where like I could just go buy one right now, but one has not crossed
Where's the fun?
over
Yeah.
my desk, so I'm just, if I see one, I'll buy it.
Fair.
Yeah, mine's like in the same vein, but not as robust. I got my pink GBA. That's the one I originally had as a kid. Even though it was still called the Game Boy, they made one in pink. It was like one of the. I forget if it was there right at launch or like just early. Because I remember my brother had the blue one, I had the pink one, so it was very like
And it's
classic
the clear
kids.
kind too.
Oh, you
so
have
it's
a-
superior.
Oh.
You have a backlit one too.
I modded
Modded.
it because
you're
yeah,
cool.
the feminine urge to make things exactly the way you want them because I love the ergonomics of this. Like I didn't really like the SP like form factor as much, but I hated not having a backlight. I was like, we can just have it all and just mod it. So have that. It also charges through USB-C, which is so nice.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's one of mine.
I-
And then I also what's up?
I'm sorry. I have to
go ahead.
I have to explain my complaint about this specific Game Boy Advance though. Nintendo calls this color fuchsia.
It's not
That's
fuchsia.
criminal. This is like a light
This-
clear pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
like,
even
maybe
close
just-
to fuchsia.
Yeah. No, this isn't fuchsia at all. No, thank
I
you
had
for
the pink. I
shouting
had
it
the
out.
exact same Game Boy as you, Janet. Like that was my first ever like gaming handheld console anything, and I had it stolen at the ice rink. I was there for like ice skating classes, and it got
No,
stolen.
that's
Like my game and
awful.
my pouch and all the games that was in it.
my
And like to this
God.
day, whenever I see like a pink GBA, I like the pink clear one. It like hurts my heart.
No, just kidding. That's not what I brought. I brought something else. Another thing I
Can't
got.
believe Janet stole your Game
can't
Boy.
believe
I know that's crazy because at the ice rink I found this GBA with all these games
You were
in it. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, someone just left this here. This is crazy. A couple other quick shouts. I got. I didn't play that much of the game, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, but I got the
Love
case
Happy
for
Home
the
Designer.
3DS. I enjoyed what I played of it. It got a lot of hate because it was not. It's like very specific.
It's a
Gameplay. It's like
spin-off.
more narrow.
It was,
It's more narrow.
supposed to. It was what it was
supposed to be
supposed to
narrow.
be.
I agree, but it just
It's better
has like
than
the
Amiibo
house
Festival.
and Yes. Oh my gosh, Amiibo Festival is really bad. But yeah, it's just got the house and everything. It's very cute. And then I think my last shout is the case I have for my 3DS.
Oh,
It's Pikachu, and it's so cute. I got this
cute.
while I was working at GameStop, and I remember seeing it come in and being like, you know, if your boss and stuff was cool, it's like, oh, if cool stuff comes in, you can just put it to the side and buy it after your shift ends. And it was like, hell yeah. And this is also around that era where like, you know, what Amiibo stuff was happening, still sort of. I know a lot of people like were hating on like Best Buy workers who would get the stuff early. I'm like, hey, if you want to work this low paying job to get this stuff early, go ahead. This is one of the good perks of the job.
I've never
but
seen
yeah, it's
that
clear.
before.
I love that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
By
it
the way-
since either. Yeah, what's up?
You mentioned Happy Home Designer. This is the guidebook for it. I got from
Nice. Oh my gosh, it's so dense.
It is like 700 pages or
Holy
something
cow.
like that. Yeah, 700.
Every piece of item of furniture in the game.
735 pages. It's like room ideas and stuff too, like room
Whoa,
inspirations
that's
for
nice.
characters.
That's awesome.
Very
good.
thorough. The one thing
Yeah.
I'm bummed about though with the show and tell is I forgot to grab the stylus. It came with like this stylus, and I liked it because it was really thick. It's like a thick blue stylus, just a little bit more ergonomic for the 3DS. But those are my little shares.
Love it. I'm going Sarah.
Okay, mine is my keyboard, which I made by myself.
Cute.
I was gonna my keyboard too, so we'll do double keyboard.
Yeah, mine's like a Tamagotchi keyboard. So that there's like a little Tamagotchi guy on the escape key, and he did like a poo. The keys are like English with like Japanese as well, so it's a Japanese and English keyboard.
nice.
Cool.
The base is like is with a clear pink for the GBA that I lost in memoriam. And I made it myself, so I got to pick the switches, and they're like banana split switches, and I like did all the things, so they're extra creamy sounding. But yeah, definitely the girliest gaming thing that I have that isn't a game.
I love that.
I
Hot pink
love
keyboard.
this. It's so cute.
That's super cute.
I want you to make my keyboard.
I'm a keyboard
They're
head
fun.
too.
You can buy a lot of good keyboards now.
I bought my keyboard, which is also my thing. I'm excited that I'm going after. Oh, I cannot have my cords very short.
You might have to unplug it.
I think I can hold it up without
Ooh,
affecting.
higher. Ooh.
Oh,
cute.
surprise!
little gradient.
Why
Some of the
am I
keys
not
were
just
different.
moving
Yeah.
my camera instead of everything else? So I bought this for myself as a law school graduation present. I was subscribed to our keyboards on Reddit for like a decade, it feels like, and I would just stare at other people's things. This was like my dream build. So it's like a really hefty like metal. Like this is like so heavy. So it sits really nice and like hard on my desk. And then I found these keycaps, which I was obsessed with. They're called the Vileplume keycaps. They're like Pokemon color inspired. So I bought these ones. And then I got my own custom switches too, so that they sound really nice as well. And I literally use this thing for like 8 hours a day. I love it so much. It's my favorite. Whenever someone comes in and like sees my setup, usually the first thing they're like, oh, little cute pinky keyboard. But I like to
Haley, is the camera that we're seeing a different one than what other people
Yeah.
are seeing?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to double check.
Did you just see nothing?
We just saw your hand over the lens, and I was just like, a beautiful keyboard.
I was doing it again.
I believe you. It's beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry.
It does look really cool.
The stream thing.
No, it's more important that they see it.
Yeah.
valid.
Nice.
Keyboards.
All right.
I feel like keyboards are a big one too, because like the gamer keyboards, like the Razer keyboards, they're so loud. The switches are hard to press if you have like weak, tiny fingers. So yeah, getting to like put your own switches in that aren't like super clacky or hard to press is like such a big deal.
Let's do some ASMR. Let's hear yours.
I don't
Sarah.
think my mic picks up my
Get it real
keyboard.
close.
I don't think
it does a little bit.
Oh, we can
Yeah,
do
it does.
that.
Ooh, that is actually really good ASMR.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like the way yours sound. Here's mine.
banana
Ready?
splits.
Here's mine.
Oh,
Okay. Very like typewriter coded.
Yeah, I like the sound of it. Like a typewriter.
Little clicky. They like a little
Come into
clicky.
my office. Oh, you have an appointment. Okay. Sit down.
Haley for free? No, come on.
It's a doctor's office ASMR. I'm not being weird.
Is this doctor taking new patients or what? Because I'm just
I know, it seems like they have openings.
I'm like, I don't have insurance.
That's okay. Come on in.
I'm uninsured. Oh my god.
This is Canada.
All right.
This is Canada. You can come in.
Okay, it's time for our final segment, which is Ping Pals, which is our kind of Dear Abby community advice column thing. We four are going to give you fantastic advice on whatever is ailing you. You can write into Pew Pew Bang every week with something you need advice on. And we're going to do a really good job, but also please don't sue us if we don't do a really good job and you take our advice.
I dare you to try.
Are you guys ready?
I dare you to try. Good luck.
Yay.
I'm ready.
Okay,
give
I'm
my
excited.
advice after that very scary overtone I gave it the advice column section.
All right, I'm excited about this one. Hey, Ping Pals. I have a real doozy. I live in a small town that only has enough people to barely support my beloved FLGS? I know local game store is LGS. I don't know what... Family? Family local
maybe?
game store? Favorite local... Okay. It is in the Australian countryside. It is currently summer here. Excuse me. It is currently summer here. Their air conditioner has never worked. Last year, no smell came from anyone unless they were drenched in perfume or cologne. This year, for whatever reason, this group of guys has started to come to Friday Night Magic, and I'm pretty sure it violates the Geneva Convention. Absolutely abhorrent stenches to the point that staff have put up signs saying, you stink, wear deodorant, and providing a can at the front desk. More signs that say you'll be kicked out if you stink, but they refuse to enforce it. It is a stain on my favorite night of the week, and regulars are already refusing, opting to have in-home game nights instead. I don't want the game store to close. Is there anything I could do?
To close?
Hang on.
It's getting that bad.
Hang on. The people showing up, the men showing up to this would rather stop going to Friday Night Magic than put on deodorant?
Is this deliberate? Is what you're saying? Is the undertone of this that they're like, no, I will stink and I'm coming?
Like, yeah, like this is not like a bunch of clueless people that don't know they stink. This sounds like a group of people who are like, I will stink. I insist on stinking.
Do you think they're doing the thing where it's like, well, it's not me, but it is them? They're just not acknowledging it.
I'm literally in tears over
know.
this segment.
Oh, wait,
Janet's
hang on.
literally crying.
I might be reading this wrong. It might be
Do you
that
mean that
regulars
people
are coming or not coming because they're stinky.
Yeah,
That makes more
yes.
sense.
Yes,
That
it
makes
is
more
That
sense.
makes way more sense.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes.
It's like that SpongeBob episode. I'm ugly and I'm proud.
I stink and I'm proud. Oh no! So
Oh,
the
man.
regulars who
Well,
smell beautiful don't
What's
want to
crazy
come.
is like what's crazy to me as somebody who like also exists in these places is the like stereotype that like Magic players and like some to another extent gamers are stinky is such a real stereotype that you'd think that there would be some sort of change
Yeah.
in the community, but there
Because
is
it's
just
embarrassing.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's signs
think-
at this point. You're telling me they're putting up
Yeah.
signs?
But they're not enforcing it is the problem. So they're
Yeah.
like,
You literally have
they're
to
tr-
enforce it.
You have to
like
kick
you
yeah.
one
have to
person
throw
out.
people out.
but this person it doesn't work there, so they can't
Yeah.
do that. So I think my advice is you and some other regulars need to band together, and you need to start because you can't shame a whole group by yourself. You know, you have to have like people around you to help with the shaming, right? And being like, hey, like all four of us notice you're really stinky. Here's a deodorant.
How do you
This
approach
is
a
tough.
human being like that?
I
That's
know.
impossible.
It's so hard.
I think you have to tell the game store
I think
that
so,
like this is
too.
affecting
Yeah, I
you,
wanted your
and then the game
input.
store has to step in.
Yeah, like Kelsey,
As,
like how would
like,
you
yeah.
want that like conveyed to you? You know, obviously I assume you run a tight enough ship
Kelsey
that
as
people
the,
wouldn't
as the
smell
game
up
store
the
owner,
store.
the stinky person.
As the game store owner, Haley, you always do this every episode. But yeah, like what would that look like, and what kind of pressure needs to, I guess, be like put on by like the community members? Because I assume they also don't want to. They seem a little
Yeah.
like, anti-confrontational in a way.
I do think I would take it seriously, but I can't. It's hard because I can't imagine myself
Yeah.
letting the store get to that point, like so stinky that I don't notice and haven't tried to fix it myself. But I do think, like, you know, if a regular came to me and was like, "This is affecting my ability to shop here," like I would take that seriously. But I do think, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I would enforce it as as a game store, and it might literally be like an at the door, if you stink, I am going to like, you know, kind of publicly embarrass you a little bit by being like, hey, you're stinky. I either need to spray you down with this Febreze or you need to turn around and go home and come back. And so, you know, you got to walk through the door and be like, oh, this person's stinky. Like, they got to get the big spray down. And then maybe people would stop being stinky.
Maybe. I'd be scared that it's someone who doesn't know they're stinky and then they get embarrassed. And then
I know.
Well, you can ask politely, but
yeah,
they're never going to find out unless someone says something.
It's so true. Yeah.
And that person will never be me, but I think it should be someone else, and I think they should do it. I won't. Will I dare? No.
Confrontation is scary.
It is scary.
Especially because I know we're always thinking about things like from our own perspective a little bit, right? So like if someone told me I was stinky, I would be so mortified and sad, and I would not like think it's that person's fault at all. No. But like I was in a state of not being mortified and sad, and now I am in a state of being mortified and sad. God. And like, yeah, just to cause that for someone feels...
You know, in Inside Out, where like the memory becomes like a core one, if someone walked up to me and was like, I'm really sorry, but like you're really stinky and like people are talking, that memory would glow and like go in my personality dome, and I would get an island of never be stinky again. Like I would never forget about it.
People, the streets have been talking. They say you are stinky.
I think if it depends on how bad the stink is. Like, is it completely latched to them where there's no hope,
it's
or
bad.
do they just need
As
deodorant?
someone who's like been in game stores, it permeates the entire space.
Yes,
to the point where you do not want to be there.
Well, and you do have to just go up to the person, because then you can't just do like, hey, group deodorant sesh before we play, like, because that's not gonna be enough. Yeah,
I've heard of like magic places and like card stores like actually having like showers in their bathrooms that they like send people to if it's that bad.
What? And give them towels and all the necessities?
But, like, yeah, they're like, go take a shower.
I don't trust that, because if you can't manage to make yourself not stinky, like, I don't trust you in a shower either. I assume you're just gonna run some water on yourself and then be like, I'm good. Like, no soap, no
bathing suits and a spray down. Like, I'm not really sure, but now it's getting kind of weird. You know, it's like, oh, this is getting kind of too personal.
I think the community needs to police themselves more. Yeah, in my opinion.
That's why I'm saying you need to band
on
together.
Each other, but
you need to band together with the non-stinky regulars, and you guys need to form the you guys need to be
a good smell alliance
enforcers.
Or something.
And if you have a friend that's stinky, you have to tell them. You literally have to tell them.
You're not a good friend if you don't tell your friend they got something in their teeth, they smell a little weird, there's a rip on their pants, that you can see your underwear. You're a mean friend if you don't point that out.
True.
That's the end game. But for this specific person, phase 1, send a message to the game store / talk to them and be like, you see me, I'm here every week. I might stop coming here. That might be like it seems like the game store's trying, right? They're not just like, we choose the stinky people. They're just like awkward and they don't want to walk up to them.
And sometimes all it takes is like somebody saying something, you know, to really push them over the edge. Because it's like, I'm sure they know it's unpleasant, like you've said with like the signs going up and stuff. But yeah, sometimes all they need to know is just one reason to act on it. Like one message that like, okay, now we can act on it because we have proof. Like they can tell them like, we've been getting messages. Like, so that's what I would do.
Then it kind of makes the ethereal who said it first the bad guy, and then it'll make them actually do something. That's a good point.
Yeah. And also like, if you are afraid of hurting someone's feelings, if someone tells you like, hey, this is upsetting to me that this is happening, it's like, well, now you have to hurt someone's feelings. You're either hurting the feelings of the regular that doesn't stink by not enforcing this, or hurting the feelings of the stinky person. So pick one, you know?
Yeah.
And your feelings are valid too. Like your feelings are hurt having to go into like a favorite environment that you can no longer go into. So you're also very valid in this for feeling upset.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Sorry you were going through that.
Yeah, that's intense.
Game store.
Good luck. If you end up having an update, I'd love to know how this gets resolved.
Also, tell me what the F stands for. And
apparently it's friendly. Friendly local game store.
Friendly.
Oh, that makes sense because of Spider-Man.
I think, yeah.
Okay. All right. Another one here. I have the hardest time finding gaming-themed apparel that also looks good enough to wear in public. Do you have any advice or go-tos on how to dress out while still celebrating your favorite hobby? I feel like this is a Haley question.
This is Haley's zone, yeah.
I love subtle game merch. It is my favorite thing of all time. The line I like to parse is someone could look at me and think I'm just wearing business attire, but a nerd will notice it's not and be like, is that a Pokeball on your freaking blazer? And I'll go, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're having a great conversation. But the guy who is judgy about 30-year-olds who have Pokemon blazers will not notice because he will just see a green blazer and I will get away with it. That's like my favorite thing to parse. But yeah, it's so hard to find clothes like that. It's kind of, I use Pinterest a lot still to this day. Pinterest stays a good place to find those weird little clothing items that I've never found. That's how I first found Black Milk, which still like, that's where I get all my blazers from that are like kind of nerdy coded. What kind of sucks is when they come, I have to pay crazy duties. So I just do like one big order every like 4 years and get like new blazers whenever they drop new ones.
Every 4 years.
Yeah, no, like, but when I was in law school, I bought my Pokemon, my Bulbasaur one, and then like literally 4 years later when I was finishing law school, I bought like 3 more blazers from them. I'm like, I'm a lawyer now, I need 3 more of these, give me 3 more of these. And I wear them, Janet knows, every GDC, I wore them all GDC, I wear them every like big event I gotta go to because it's just a blazer, but it's sneaky nerdy. And I can't, even if it's a t-shirt or something too, I kind of opt away from like, if I'm buying a Pokemon shirt, like not the one that has a giant Pikachu like front and center, but the one that's like, there's maybe like a cute outline of something on the sleeve, or like the back art is like an artist's rendition of 90s Pokemon that's kind of subtle or something like that. Like I opt more towards that kind of stuff too.
I think, I mean, we talked about some of this in the conventions episode, I guess. Maybe not, but like, artist alleys and stuff at a lot of these places are starting to have more apparel and things like that. So, and yeah, Black Milk is really good. Insert Coin Clothing has some good stuff too. That's a little more on the subtle side. Yeah, it's getting easier, thankfully, but I'm kind of in the same way. It's like, I don't want the thing that's just like logo of my favorite video game or whatever. Yeah. I want something that's a little bit, you know, like it just looks like normal fashion, but like
nothing,
but the real ones,
coded,
no,
you know, where it's just like, they clearly just found that in a warehouse and they're like, it's on a rack now. Like those shirts are never cute. They're always like, what's left over.
Yeah, but I also think you can, even like with some of those things, you can build an outfit around it. Like if you're not just like putting on the shirt, and then just a pair of ratty jeans or whatever. Like I feel like Janet's really good at this, like because you've got kind of like a sportier style, so you'll have like, you know, one piece that maybe is really casual, but like it's elevated by building the rest of the outfit around it, which I'm not super good at, but I do. But there is an art to that.
Yeah, I think on that note too, it depends on your style for sure. Like I think Black Milk definitely has, you know, a lot in the way of some business casual. They're big. Also, Black Milk has like 8 different style like cuts, and then everything's just prints of it. So it's like, okay, if you like overalls, they always have overalls. If you like their pants, they always have the same pant. You can get them in different cuts. So it just depends on your style. Like this is actually in the opposite direction in a way, but I think it comes back around. Places like Culture Kings, they do they have like Pokemon stuff, super loud, very much Pokemon, but very street style. So it's like, oh, it's Gengar, but it looks very like badass, kind of grungy, or it's Mewtwo and it has like the, you know, Japanese lettering on the side to kind of give it like almost like recontextualize it a little bit. That can be really cool if that's your style of clothes. You know, right now, like in streetwear, the heavy design on the back of the graphic tee is huge and then the front is subtle. So just stuff like that. I think too, definitely they can skew loud, but there are some subtle pieces on Fangamer, because Fangamer tends to do like a couple wild pieces. Like, you know, I just saw one, they have a Batters jersey for the game Off. And it's like, oh, I don't know that video game. So I'm like, oh, this just looks like a baseball jersey. Similarly, their game's done quick. It's like baseball tee. You won't notice. I know at one point I got a piece of like merch. I think it's for sale, but like I got like the in-universe baseball team from Oxenfree 2. Like I don't even know that, and I played Oxenfree 2. You know what I mean? So cool. I think it also just depends on if you want another angle is to look for like references instead of like the game itself. Like what's the like the coffee shop in Alan Wake? Haley, I don't know if you remember something like, oh, that coffee brand or something like that. Same with like Blathers is. Who I don't know, Blathers is the museum guy, whatever, Roost Coffee Roaster or whatever, right? It's like you can have like something like that. And it's like, okay, it just seems like it could be anything. And yeah, same like what you said, Kelsey, like designing around. Too, just for like outfits in general, there's a rule. I forgot if it's like, if it has a name, but it's like the rule where you want to be like 7 or higher on your outfit if you're looking for an interesting outfit, which things that are neutral are 1 point and things that are funky are 2. And your goal is to get to 7 or higher. I forgot if it's 7 or if it's 6. And then like don't go above like maybe like 10 or 11 or something. Obviously you can do whatever you want. They're just guidelines. So it's like base pair of sneakers 1. Maybe you have really funky pants. That's 2. Then you have a plain shirt. So you could always play around that if you're looking for ways to like build an outfit as well. And maybe you're like very loud Gengar t-shirt is your 2 and everything else is kind of peeled back a little bit, but also more like differentiated in the layering.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I like the indie tip, like, because the indies are making really good merch these days. So it's just like, if you think an indie has a cool art style in general, go see their merch and you'll probably find a cute shirt that'll look good with like corduroy pants and a like cool jacket, and then all of a sudden you look crazy cool. Let them do all the hard work.
There's stuff too that's like not specific like IP, but just like nerd leaning. Like Sarah, I feel like you have a lot of like your stuff from Maiko, the artist. It's like that's not a specific game, but it's like sort of, ethereal, magic-y, like kind of in that nerd vein. Like, okay, it's giving like nerd bookstore, D&D campaign energy without being like, this is Mario. This is Mario.
Yeah, so like I was literally thinking like what not to wear, and it's like that Mario hat, red t-shirt, or like the green Triforce t-shirt that we've all seen before. I can hear like dozens of people.
Classically trained, and it has a NES controller
the
on
classically trained shirt.
I can hear a bunch of people opening their drawers and just like throwing it in the chair. Damn it!
but again, like tee, just convert it to a pajama tee. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, with most stuff, like you still can build an outfit around it, but just the plain shirt by itself is probably not going to be super interesting. So, like learning more about like constructing an outfit, whether that's like, tucking your shirt into like a high-waisted skirt or something like that, like there's all kinds of ways to, or just like elevating it with a cool jacket. Like there's a lot of cool ways to make an outfit like less centered around the nerdy thing. So even if you are just wearing, just a Triforce shirt or whatever, you can kind of like tone that down to be more in the background of the outfit, and then it won't read so like obviously bought it at Target nerd shirt.
I think too, stuff like pins. I know Haley, you're like pretty big into pins, but like pins on an Ita bag. Like there's a lot of like really cute, like more pursy Ita bags, or even just like tote bags if you want something that's like less femme leaning, or just like creative things you might not have thought of, which I'm kind of constantly looking online to see like what people are doing in the fashion space. But stuff like, could you change out your laces in like a way that feels, evocative of something, or like adding adornments in ways that you might not expect. I think just like a lot of things, venturing into a more general realm and then applying it is going to be probably more useful than just like how to style like a gamer. Just look at style stuff and see if there's like ways you can gaming incorporate it. Like, the Jane Birkifying your bag is like very trendy right now. And it's like, you could totally put like, your Pokemon Go, if you want that Pokemon Go ball, you can put that on there and that'd be like really cool and trendy and stuff and interesting. So yeah, there's lots of ways to have fun with it.
Shout out to this person who asked this question, because I just wrote down like 5 things Janet just said.
Thanks.
Okay. Should we do one more or 2 more?
One more.
One more. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do one. We probably should do one for sake of time. My heart says 2, but the clock says 1.
You sounded excitedly like you meant 2, but it was one more.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm trying to hype it up.
I just feel like one of these days, like we get to we talk so much the rest of the show that we get to here, and I've highlighted like 6 questions, and then we're like, oh my gosh, we've been recording for 3 hours.
Oh my god, we could do the questions episode one day though. This is what we're saving up for.
That'd be fun.
That's a good idea. Okay. All right.
Remember when, and I just want everyone to know who's listening, that when we first talked about the show, we discussed that it was only going to be 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Yes, 90 minutes.
Everyone, I had this feeling, I didn't want to push back on it, but I had this feeling when everyone was like, yeah, let's try to keep it to like an hour and a half. And I was like, why don't we at least like have 2 hours free? Because that feels difficult to do. And we can't even keep it to 2 hours.
And last episode was 3 hours. This one's 3, and this was 3. And we're like, it's gonna eventually maybe get down to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Like, who can say?
We're just growing. Okay, Our last question is from Ari, and they write in and say, Dear Pew Pew Bang, I need some advice on what to do with my retro collection of video games. I live in a small apartment with my partner. We have a limited space for our belongings. Currently, we have 4 game systems in our entertainment center, which is more than enough for our needs. So what should I do with everything else that is in storage? I've had a passion for video games my entire life, and I go back and forth on holding on to it or letting it go.
This is a Kelsey question.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's all like
Well,
all you guys
Kelsey's
have.
answer would be hold on to it because look at her background. Kelsey's
No, I
answer
feel like
was
Kelsey's got rid of a lot of
Miles
stuff, low
gestured
key.
to your background, which is 8 trillion games.
But Kelsey really had 10 trillion though, and probably culled down to 8.
I did live in a small apartment where this became a pretty big issue, and it's still an issue because I don't have everything nicely displayed right now, but I don't have anything in storage. That is kind of where I personally draw the line because I really don't like the idea of like paying rent on something I'm not even looking at, you know?
Yeah.
And it's necessary sometimes, but like in my head, I'm just like, okay, well, if that game costs me $20 and I'm paying for storage every month, like I could just buy that game again someday with the money I'm saving by not having a storage unit. But I think it's really different if you like are going to have the storage unit either way, you know, like if you already need that storage unit, then you might not want to get rid of some of this stuff. But for me, I got rid of a lot of things that I felt like that weren't really me, you know, they were just kind of like a nice collection of stuff. Like I got rid of all of my Sega Genesis stuff. I didn't grow up with a Genesis. I think it's a cool system, but it's like, it's fairly easy. Like if I ever do want to play a Sega Genesis, they have made so many different ways to play almost all those games. There's like Switch compilations, like a ton of Genesis games are just on Steam. There's other, you know, maybe gray market areas, ways to do that too. Like, so I think if you can narrow it down and that helps, then that's probably where I'd start, because you'll be surprised at what you don't miss once you start doing stuff like that. When you're like, oh yeah, like I don't really think about the NES that much. I don't really have that big of a soft spot for it. Then just axe the entire section. Just be like, I don't have NES games then anymore. Like I don't need those. But yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Surely you guys have dealt with not having enough space for things that you like before.
I played a fun
Every
game
day.
once with when I was moving, where it was like a closed drawer, and it was like, what's in this drawer? You get to keep whatever you can remember.
Ooh.
Yeah. So like I was cleaning out my vanity, and it was like, okay, I think this, and this, and like I opened it, and it was like a hanger that I used to use for my old hair dryer that like I don't need anymore because my new hair dryer doesn't need to sit like that anymore. And it was like a bunch of old weird shaped towels that I would never use because they're circle shape and who needs that at the beach, and like all this other stuff. And I was just like, get rid of it. It's like, why is this in a drawer? And it like helped that it made me really think really hard about like if I actually want these things. So I was like, okay, I need to remember. Was there anything? And there's a couple things I opened. It's like, oh, I do like that thing, but I didn't even know it was in here, so therefore I don't actually need it. That was kind of a useful little tip. I think I learned about that on TikTok or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Janet
I
and
feel
I,
like-
heard that method.
I don't know.
Janet and I
I
have
like
done kind of a big, like, sorry. I've done like a
go
big
ahead.
Marie Kondoing of our stuff. And I think it's tougher with video games. She doesn't ever talk specifically about video games. She does
Yeah.
like books and
Come
stuff
on,
like
Marie.
that. But
Talk about video
But-
games.
I do think
Yeah, hop online, you know?
I do think it's a really similar thing where it's just like, is this, you know, by all means, like try to keep things that were meaningful to you from your childhood. Like I still have my childhood Game Boy. I have my childhood copy of Pokemon Yellow.
Aw.
Was the childhood
then-
Game Boy a jab at me, Kelsey? Because mine was stolen. Like, please keep that in your thoughts
No.
when you mention your childhood Game Boys.
Sarah, I don't have my childhood Game Boy Advance. I only have my childhood
okay.
Game Boy Color. So
What happened to the Game Boy Advance?
probably stolen. Same ice rink. I was living in Detroit. It might have also been
ice
gone at a.
The ice rinking,
all
the
Game
skating was just a ploy to get the kids there to put their game consoles down. Yeah, I mean, I think It's tough because I feel like I've had so much regret over the years of like all my childhood stuff I don't have anymore. And it's all like I'm just buying it back as an adult. And some of that stuff gets expensive because I liked Nintendo as a kid. And that stuff did not devalue. They selling that Pokemon Crystal for like over $100 at my local game store. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh man, guess I'll just go somewhere else to get this, you know, if you know what I mean. There's plenty of ways to do that online. But yeah, so I think it just really depends on, I guess, the size and the scale of what you're working with. But also, I think for me, and I think just reflecting on the kind of like to what Kelsey said, the kind of collection you want to build, there's many ways to collect. There is like the kind of more completionist method of like, I want all the North American N64 games. And maybe you are really passionate about that and that means a lot to you. And maybe you don't want to let up on that. But the reality of having a small space is that you probably can't really have everything that you want to have. But also, something I'm dealing with all the time is one of my goals on continuously culling down the stuff we have in our apartment, even though it's not like ridiculously small, but it's not ginormous either, is if I don't gain more space, I can't ever really gain more things. And I want to gain more things because I like to have things and buy things. And that can't keep happening if I don't have more space. So like, you're always better to have like less in that regard. But yeah, I think just really thinking about like, what do you want to have? Like, I'm at the point in my life where if I could go back and still have my DS, I would totally have it. But frankly, I got rid of it. And I think it's kind of fine because I can just play it, my DS games on my 3DS, which is still true. So I'm not going to rebuy it. But, you know, just kind of thinking of that kind of stuff. Like for me, I'm just looking at this point to have either games that I already have that I love, that I'm keeping for the culture, which aren't that many, or stuff that I'm buying that's new to me is also what I'm seeking. With sometimes I'll buy like a nostalgia thing, but like that Jeanne d'Arc game I mentioned, like I bought that because Sarah recommended it. I still haven't played it. It's been sitting on my shelf for like 6 months, but I bought it and I was like, cool, because that's what I'm looking to get into and out of my physical collection, like enjoying and playing my games. Like I think you just have to really look and see what are you doing, and also realizing that maybe you can't do it all right now, and just kind of negotiating those things.
Yeah, and I would envision, like, when you do move to a bigger space, are those, like, consoles or games in that space? Like, when you envision, like, a space that could maybe hold them, are they there or are they still in storage? Like, will something continue to take their place and you're just holding on because you feel bad about getting rid of them? Like, if it's just because you feel bad that you would maybe regret it, since it's already causing you enough stress to mail into us, I would say get rid of it. Like, it's already, why are you being burdened by this?
Also, especially if it's a lot of consoles and stuff in there, I think consoles sitting in storage doesn't really do a service to anyone because those things do break, and some will break with less frequent use as opposed to more, you know, just kind of as they have time to sit and the dust to settle in and the moisture to settle in and all of that. And, you know, in a box in something with not a lot of airflow, like you may pull those out of storage someday and they won't work anyways. And you'll have to go to the local game store and buy another Xbox or have them repaired or whatever anyways. So I especially don't think it makes a lot of sense, again, unless it's like a very important childhood console or just something small like a Game Boy or something. But a lot of stuff, I think it doesn't really make sense to hold on to if it's just like, well, someday I might want to play a Wii U, you know, because it's just.
Hasn't the Wii U been through enough, Kelsey? Like, do you really have to bring the Wii U out for this?
The Wii U alone, Kelsey.
Well, the Wii U is like one of those that actually, like, if you don't turn it on every once in a while, is a lot more at risk of being destroyed.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, not my HD Wind Waker.
All the people that are like holding on to that Zelda version of the Wii U that everyone bought and was like,
that's what I have.
Oh my god! Yes, you fell victim to it. Yeah, it looked cool. Kind of. It kind of looked like it just got decaled on there, but they did what they could with the Zelda version.
I don't think they did what they could. I think they did the bare minimum.
They did what they felt they could because they didn't want to do more. Like, this was all I kind of had to offer. Yeah, it's like, well, I also think of a story that sort of changed my whole life that I read like in middle school or maybe in high school was Everyday Use. I forgot who the author does that short story. It's a story about these two sisters and they inherit a quilt and one of them wants to use the quilt and the other one says, no, this is so important to our family. You can't use the quilt. You have to hang it up. And they sort of just have this beef over like, no, like the real way to honor is to use it. I think you also just need to know what kind of person you are in that regard. And live in that truth. Like I'm very much more a use the thing person. And to that end, that's also why I have gotten, even though in the modern era I have a lot of physical Switch games, if I do not enjoy a game, I will just get rid of it immediately because I'm like, what is the point of having this? Just to say that I have it? No. And sometimes that's true for stuff I know I won't replay, but slightly less so just because, again, I've also gotten to know myself. So I think you also have to look at your own history and be okay, like making mistakes. Like for everything I've regretted getting rid of, I now have like learned from that. And I feel like I know what's going on now with me in my collection, what I want to have. Yeah. Good luck. It's hard.
Well, I think that's it for our podcast. Unless, are we going to go through the survey results real quick?
I feel like we should.
Yeah. Okay. So, last week, 2 weeks ago, we posted one of those fun little web quizzes that you did all the time as a kid to find out what Disney princess you were or whatever, except it was to find out which one of us you are. And it was kind of indulgent, but like I had a really good time with it and I loved seeing
super
people's
fun.
responses.
Yeah. Haley, I said if you want to pull it up, I sent it over in Slack as a PDF. But yeah, I was able to. We can see like everyone the stat answers like per question, and then also the general results. And it was just really fun to do on social and have people be like, "Oh, I'm a Sarah," or "I'm a Kelsey," or like "I'm a Haley." Like it was just cute seeing people resonate with it, and then also have the like alignments of. It was interesting seeing like what our colleagues from like MinnMax proper got as us as well. So yeah, it was just a good time.
Yeah, was it all Janet's and Haley's for the men of MinnMax?
There were some Sarahs. I think it was like the lack of going outside was the Sarahs.
All right, scroll to the bottom first because I just want to see. Well, first of all, what did you guys think? Who did you think was going to be the most common answer? Did you have any?
Haley.
Guesses?
Maybe Haley or Janet.
I also thought Haley.
Yeah. I feel like maybe Sarah.
I thought it wasn't gonna be me
because you have like a gremlin-y whimsy to you that I feel like resonates with the gamers.
So
I don't
know.
Interesting. All right, should we tell our audio listeners what it broke down to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a Haley Maclean. Got 273 responses, 27.4% of listeners. The most percentage was Janet Garcia. You're a Janet Garcia, 325, 32.6.
It's a scary world out there.
If you're not like the other girls, you were Kelsey Lewin. 126 responses, 12.6%. And then
I will say that we did catch something that was probably very limiting in there, which was that we had the answer for you go to a local game store, what do?
You own it.
The original answer was that you own it, which is like very limiting.
I will say,
why
Kelsey,
couldn't it just be vibes based? You know,
I hate to break it to you. These analytics are after I changed that question to be more all encompassing.
Oh really? Oh no.
Yeah. Kelsey, you want to know what I think?
You're just a rare breed, Kelsey. There's something wrong with
Kelsey,
that.
it was the bird and the sleeves.
The bird, yeah. The bird
and the sleeves.
The sleeves, really.
You think men know what a fancy sleeve is?
Yeah,
I guess
right.
I just didn't know what to say for my fashion
and not to
thing.
like over assume that most of the people who took this quiz were men, because it could also be women. But yeah, I feel like people were confused by the sleeve. Very specific.
But would it?
I think the bird.
Sarah, would it have been
though.
any better if I had said like boho or something? You know,
yes,
like
I think it would have.
Really?
I think people would know boho over a fancy sleeve.
Okay.
I liked your sleeve answer, and every time I see a dramatic sleeve, I think of you now.
You're literally.
And
Do you
nice.
consider what you're wearing now a dramatic sleeve?
Kind of. I just like
Yeah, I think so.
kimono-y things.
so too.
And
Like a wing.
Yeah.
Like a quick little wing.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But Sarah Podzorski got 27.5.
So okay,
Haley and I are tied.
Yeah.
Janet number 1, Sarah number 2, but barely
By a point.
above
And it matters.
Haley, and then me.
I think it's cooler to not get picked, Kelsey, because it means you're a unique
Well,
gem.
okay,
It means I'm
my,
not like other girl.
my opinion
Exactly.
on this is like everyone who got Kelsey was so excited to share it.
It's true.
I think like
Yes.
everyone who got Kelsey was so psyched.
Kelsey
and I
was
don't
the
think
rare
the Sarahs
drop.
were nearly as psyched as they should have been.
I bet some people went through this quiz thinking, I want to get Kelsey, and was like,
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to.
But I feel like
I wish I could get Kelsey in this quiz. I knew I
You would know how
I
to
was
get
in it.
Kelsey. I feel like. Maybe not. Let's go to questions real quick, because
Okay.
maybe some
Yeah.
of these are more obvious than others.
Yeah. All right, you got some useful items in the game. You're never using them. Whose answer was that?
I think that was mine.
That was Janet.
I believe.
43% agreed with you, Janet.
Yeah,
Using
hell
them
yeah.
strategically. I think
That one was mine.
that was
Only
Sarah.
because just recently I've actually started using them strategically. So
We're
congratulations
all
to me.
recovering.
So
We're all recovering Janet's here.
Yeah.
We all went
yeah,
through
I'm,
a
just
phase
not,
of
I'm not
never
far
using
enough
them.
in my journey. I'm still just like,
Now
getting started.
I'm like, now I just use them whenever I want to use them because I know I'm not going to use them. So I've gotten less precious with
That's
it.
good. Then Kelsey was binge using them in one boss fight. That's a good answer. I feel like a lot of people play that way. No one liked my answer, which is meticulously organizing them by usefulness, which is just
I like that though, and
That's
I
my
do.
OCD bleeding through. But
And I
whenever
kinda
get
do that
items, I like to
too.
order them by my most.
But then I
important.
don't actually use the items. But I do. I think a good sort. I love a good sort.
Sort. That's what Monster Hunter
Yeah.
Wilds is a good
Sort.
sort. You come back to your tent, you do a good sort. That's what that game is. You see Sephiroth, you think, why don't I get a cool wig? Was the top
That was my answer.
That
That's
was
the top
Kelsey.
answer.
Mine was next with he's cute, but he's kind of cute, but mostly evil. He's hot with Sarah after that, and then Janet, his lips were chapped. Got 13.
Yeah, though I will say I do also think he is hot, but his lips are very chapped, and you get a lot of zoom
I'm
ins in
surprised
that
more
game.
people didn't just say he's hot. Why do you all
He's
live
very
in
hot.
denial?
Yeah.
Like,
Because a lot of men took this quiz, Sarah.
why would they live in denial? It
I
is
think
what
they
it
do want the
is.
wing though. They're like, I want to be hot, and part of that
Yeah.
it's the wing, it's the wig, it's
Which
the
you want?
whole-
One
the
wings
aura.
or two wings? Two, right?
How many
given
wings
the
do you want with
option?
that?
How many wings would you like?
But he's the one winged angel, right? It's like okay, you gotta have
Yeah,
just one.
but is it a useful wing?
It's bad to be the one.
Does it
winged
need
angel,
to be
yeah.
useful?
But it looks cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Top music. I'm surprised that my pick was the most popular.
Wow.
I just said I only listen to rain sounds and video game soundtracks, which is accurate. That got 34.9. You couldn't waterboard this information out of me. Was that Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah.
It's got 20.
Still really want to
Okay,
know.
hang on. Janet asked us for like a big list, and then
Yeah.
I think just put one thing from the big
Yeah.
list on ours.
Kelsey's Green Day.
Well, I agree. I tried to pick the most mainstreamed, but also not as clockable was my goal. Like we couldn't really tell who
okay.
it was. So
smart.
that's why I went with Beyonce for me, even though my top artist was probably like
I'm
Kendrick or
surprised the listening
Tyler or
to
somebody.
video game soundtracks was the top one, but also not because this is a video game
Yeah.
centric quiz.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
People do
yeah.
love those game soundtracks.
You walk into a game store. Surprisingly, only 5% say you work there or know the staff super well. We'll edit.
Yeah.
65%
Wow, only
say look for
5%.
some hidden gem handheld games to buy and not play. 21%
Yeah,
say
that's me.
find the most expensive game they have. 7.5, which was Sarah. Well, that was you, right, Sarah?
That was me. The
Yeah.
expensive game was me. Yeah.
Look for Pokemon cards, which was me. You got 7.5. And then, yeah, poor Kelsey. This is where I think this is where Kelsey
Yeah,
This is
got
where
lost.
Kelsey
it definitely
died.
still was just
Yeah. And the next one coming up here, which is your ideal pet, is Fat Cat. Janet won with 44.6%. Small Dog came next, which is 27.7. That's Sarah. Big Dog, which is me, 25.3. And Bird, 2.5%.
People did not like that
Hang on.
bird.
Only
Poor
25
bird.
people out of 1,000 want a bird. That is wild.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's not that
You
they
came back
don't
with the
want
where to
a
live.
bird. They just would rather a dog first, I guess, which is quite a lot of humans when you think about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had a dog before I had a bird. Like, I get it. I like dogs too.
Yeah.
Or the chonkster.
Seattle, Washington won with 36.9%.
Kelsey's coming back
on this one,
yeah.
Kelsey.
I feel like
Come
Kelsey
back,
had the
pick a place
unfair
to
advantage
live.
with Seattle, Washington,
That's a great place to live. Minneapolis came second with 31.1.
which is wild to me. Do you guys know you're supposed to answer where you want to live, not where you live?
Reading's hard.
Halifax.
Minneapolis is cool.
My hometown, Halifax, Nova Scotia, came third with 22.6. And
Yeah.
LA, California, got
Above LA,
9.4.
how much does this community hate LA that Nova Scotia,
This
no
is-
offense, Haley, Canada's a very beautiful land. Above LA. Tell me what's in the people who answer this. Tell me what's in Nova Scotia. You don't
They don't
know
know.
exactly. You do
People
not know.
said it was just not
You just hate
America,
LA.
from what
you
I
just
saw.
hate. Yeah. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
So
realized,
valid.
actually. That should be the number one answer maybe at this point in this climate.
You got free tickets to a sporting event. You hope you don't have to go, Sarah.
Yes.
That's
See,
so funny to
this is how I won with the gaming crowd.
Yeah.
Smart. I said,
The
hope
sports
the beer
hate.
is cheap. That got 23.1%. Janet said, hope it's a basketball game. Or baseball. Kelsey said, hope it's
Soccer
a
game.
baseball game. Sorry, at 22.4.
Yeah.
And Janet said, hope it's a soccer game, 15.8. Not a lot of soccer
Gamers
fans.
hate
This is
soccer?
Yeah, of course. This is American gamers. You want to leave, but you hate soccer, so maybe right in the country you belong. I don't know.
There's only 3 answers here.
I think
We
we only
only
had
just three.
3.
Some of them had some of them
doubled up.
linked to the same person. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Like some of us said the same
Sorry,
answer,
we couldn't
so we
all
just
be
like
unique.
we just shared,
Your backlog
and I
people
coded it
love
thusly.
Weird indie games. Janet, 33.9. JRPGs.
No, it's not me.
That's
Sarah.
mine. Mine's weird indie games.
Janet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thought that was
Miss-
you, Indie Informer.
No.
That's her front log.
Yeah.
She is playing those.
That's her front log.
Well, this is where if I wasn't in the quiz, I would get Sarah. I think from this
Fair enough.
answer.
JRPGs is Kelsey, 30.9%. Narrative-driven games is me, 25.5%. Iconic PS3 360 titles, Janet, 9.8. How did
That's
that not get
me.
more love?
I don't know. I guess people are, and the old heads already played those games, I guess. I was missing them. I only played like 8 things on that console. I'm trying to go back and clean
Janet-
up.
This is really interesting because you have like several very unpopular answers,
Yeah.
but like your overall obviously resonated with people.
Yeah.
I feel like that tracks for like the general vibes that the internet has.
I think
You
it was
hate
the
me 'cause you
sporty
are me.
fashion. I think it was the sporty fashion that
carried,
pushed
yeah.
Janet over because I don't think a lot of people know how they dress, and I think men assume they put a t-shirt on and it's sporty.
Yeah.
That's my
Like, I
hater
wear basketball
opinion.
shorts at home.
Sporty.
I'm a sporty.
My
Pick your
sportiness.
class. This is pretty evenly. This is about as evenly split as we could get, I feel like. Pick your class. Mage, 40%. Warrior, 35.
That's
Druid,
me.
25.1. Where'd that point one from? That it's not evenly split. Anyways. I was Druid. Who else was Druid?
Okay.
Was that just me?
No, I was
warrior.
mage.
I was mage.
Janet
with
and I were
Sarah.
mages.
Janet, you and Mages,
Yeah.
and then Kelsey's a warrior.
Magical girls.
That's a good party.
That is
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah. Your ideal
Someone draw that.
Sunday. Sarah said 8+ hours.
Oh yeah.
Relaxation
So this is
game.
how I won.
Yeah.
Sneaking
Yeah.
in with like the
0.2%.
vague video game answers.
Yeah, I said sleeping in, walking my pet, cleaning the apartment, and then gaming for the rest of the day to try to forget your Sunday scaries. That's truly how every single Sunday of my life goes. That got 38.9%. Got the exercise in here, Janet. You lost some people. A long run.
Yeah, I lost a lot.
A nap. You could have got them back with the extravagant brunch and then chill time on the couch with dinner delivered to your door. You tried to bring them back after the exercise.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
I lost people.
You did.
No,
well,
I gotta tell
100%.
you.
Yes.
I had my partner take this quiz, and he was like, "What was the nap one?" I'm like, "No, but it also has a long run." And he was like, "Oh, never mind."
no.
Yeah.
Kelsey, you said sleeping in and iced matcha and seeing that nothing at work is on fire. I don't think that only got 6.9. I think people don't want to think about work on Sunday. You're too rise and grind.
think-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. It's the Sunday Scaries.
No, you're living your truth. It's just that our listeners are like, I ain't touching that on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Your fashion aesthetic. Here we go. Urban, casual.
I had a
comfy
typo in here.
streetwear.
Yep.
Oh,
I think most men are like, I like comfy. I like comfy. I'll go with
That
comfy.
is true, yeah.
that got
It was the
49.2%. Yeah, you're really.
It's the comfy.
Yeah. Gamer tees and
I wrote
jeans.
gamer
are feeling
teens.
Crazy. Maybe some funky socks. I think that was me.
That was you, yeah.
25.4%.
I think that was me.
I can't remember what I wrote. Athleisure? Is that how you say that? Minimalist?
Yeah.
That is Sarah, 20.3. And Kelsey in all caps.
How you
Dramatic
dress?
sleeves, 5.1%.
Maybe you don't dress that way on camera, but you know.
Oh.
Was it just 'cause you
Yeah,
wear
you-
leggings?
Yeah,
I feel like
you
you're
oh,
more
yeah.
like preppy.
Well,
is
I
what you
wear,
give
like,
me.
no, just
different-
girly.
Yeah, I dress girlier on camera than when I go out. I dress really minimalist when I leave my home because it's just too much work to be cute.
Fair.
Fair.
And does society deserve it? You gotta wonder.
You gotta wonder. Shoutouts to
You guys deserve it, though.
picking my favorite food for the pick here, Janet. This
Yeah.
is favorite food. Janet put Eggs Benedict, even though it came in dog last year. People don't feel like an Eggs Benedict.
People hated the
I feel
eggs
like Eggs
Benedict.
Benedict was the best one.
I
I
love
loved Eggs
Eggs
Benedict, but
Benedict.
it's not
love
my
Eggs
favorite
Benny.
food though. But it's up there
I
for
love it
sure.
so
It literally
much.
could be my favorite food, I think.
Yeah, I can't
But
not
yeah,
Haley
order
took
it
it, so I
love-
said pasta.
if it's there. Tacos won 34.5. Who was that?
Yeah, that was me.
Janet.
That's me.
Pasta was Sarah. 33%.
Yeah.
Kelsey was sush, 25.3. I said eggs Benedict, 7.3. That does not match the cute vibes of you guys. It's like, I'll have a taco, I'll have some delicious pasta, some sushi. Give me eggs, and it's 9 a.m.
No. This is my favorite.
It's the
one.
most luxurious meal you could have in
Fancy
today's society
eggs.
now.
I would order
Maybe
eggs
it was
for
too.
dinner.
It was too bourgeoisie, I think, Kaylee. In our economic climate, you know.
I just love a good hollandaise. I could pour hollandaise on anything.
Yeah.
Go-to drink. Coffee won, 46%.
That's me.
That
Basic.
I said frozen pink lemonade, which won 29%.
I love that.
I was shocked that's so high.
Yeah,
I
what?
know, I thought that was
Frozen
a
pink
weird
lemonade?
It's so specific.
It's so
they'll
good.
drink the lemonade but not eat the eggs Benny? What the hell's going on?
I love a good
I do
frozen
wonder-
pink lemonade and eggs Benny. That's a great meal.
I wonder if people were like, I didn't think about that, but yeah, now that you mention it,
Really go for a
Yeah.
Frozen
lemonade.
pink lemonade. It
It
always
sounds really
hits
good.
different than normal lemonade. Like when you see a pink lemonade, you're like, this is gonna hit better than the normal style. Sarah said iced latte, 14.9. Iced matcha got 10.1.
I gotta
truly
shout
are
out
just
real quick.
too unique.
No, I gotta shout out real quick. So Kyle on the MinnMax show is like my beverage buddy. We enjoy all the same beverages, like
Yeah.
down to obscure, like discontinued one, like the coffee black cherry flavored aha. And I know he loves an iced matcha. And he was like, oh yeah, I forgot to pick that answer. I picked coffee on accident. And I was like, what are you doing?
Kyle.
Betrayal!
Wait,
Kyle, get it back on the form. No.
He was like,
you
yeah,
get it back.
I should have answered iced matcha. I'm like, then why didn't you?
You like gave that to him as a gimme and he didn't take it.
I will say too, they always appeared in a different order for every one. Like the order shuffles with the
oh,
answers
okay.
automatically.
Oh, good. So it's not just like the first one.
No.
Yeah, because I didn't want to have to think about the like how to place that. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's so like
Yeah.
hard to do unbiasedly. So I'm like, oh, I love that they just shuffle them for everybody.
That's nice. You were finally slain. You have a picture of a ninja with his sheathed sword here. What was your downfall? Honestly, I probably just wasn't paying attention. Was Sarah?
That was me.
I love
That was
it.
Kelsey.
Oh, that was you.
Oh, do you like how I assumed that was you,
I
Sarah?
feel like you're always paying attention.
No, that would also
was
be me,
Sarah.
honestly. That would also be me.
Sarah.
45%.
That was
That was a
taken.
big one. That was a big one for Kelsey. 45%?
Yeah.
Wow.
Big win.
My own hubris.
That one was me.
That was Sarah. I should have
Okay.
known that. 23.6%. Spending too much time planning and not enough time working was Janet. 17.6.
That's me, yeah.
How did not diving in front of a car to save my pet? 13.8.
I'm
is
surprised
what
more
I
people
said.
didn't pick that one.
That is legitimately, I would do that and die. Like I think that's the way I'm gonna go out. If it's
I thought
earlier
that would be
than-
the top one. Or the
natural
paying
death.
attention one.
Yeah. Well, you guys don't love your pet as much as I love my pet. Oh well. And what items did you drop? 995 answered out of 998. Who's skipping this one?
Who's skipping?
Hey,
you can't
some people
skip.
skip these ones. 3 people skipped. You skipper. They probably got halfway through and then hit submit. Could they even do that? My
I don't know,
wallet,
maybe.
phone, glasses with yellow tint prescription to help with extreme screen
is
use.
so
and several
specific.
Legit toys is my answer. That got 46.6.
Specific.
And the fidget toys did it.
That's legit what's in my purse on any given day. Several pens and a DS Lite that hasn't been charged in a while. That's
That's
Janice. That was Kelsey.
No,
I don't
Kelsey.
even know my own freaking friends. How bad am I? I'm like, is that Kyle? 28.3%. A book, it's a little smutty.
that one's me.
That's Sarah. 19.9.
I was surprised.
Good
I'm surprised that
answer.
was not dead last. Why is that not dead
Yeah, a
last?
tissue and some gloss and a purse I didn't need to buy. It's such a solid answer. That I got 5.1%.
Yeah. That's me.
Again,
purse?
who's taking this quiz? Is it all with? I would love to see if there's no way to
I
do this, but
know.
I would love to see a breakdown.
Yeah, I guess my thing could be it's pretty genderless for my wallet, phone, glasses with
Yeah.
yellow tint, and
I actually think this goes in order of genderedness. I think yours is the like least gendered, mine is second least gendered. Sarah's is starting to get like maybe a little
So am I the
girl
worst
coded.
girl because I won?
Well, that's, yeah, I think.
Yeah, where's
Yes, you're the,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Kelsey's the best girl.
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm the best girl.
This is order.
girl.
This is golf. You actually want to have the lowest score, so you failed.
But I
Yeah.
do think for some of these answers, it really is just as simple as like
No, for
one
sure.
of this answer is a little bit girly, and a lot of people taking this quiz are not women.
that's fair.
Which I actually
Yeah,
think
potentially.
it's really cool that a lot of men took this quiz too, though.
Yeah, and people said that they learned a lot about us from taking this quiz.
Yeah.
And Janet wrote like really nice little blurbs about all of us that I really appreciated.
Oh,
Yeah,
yay.
that was so cute.
I tried. I was like sitting at my kitchen table. I'm like, give me an adjective for Kelsey that isn't the one I already used. And no one could come up with anything. And I was like, you guys suck. And then I just did it myself. So thanks for not helping, family.
Next time I see Isaiah, I'm just gonna tell him it's kind of messed up that he doesn't have any adjectives to describe
Yeah,
me.
you didn't have any adjectives that weren't the ones that I said you couldn't use because I used them already and I didn't want to be repetitive. What's going on? Yeah, this was
All right,
fun.
well, this was fun, guys. We continue to make these, I think, longer and longer. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
are we
time
over
this is
3 hours
recording.
now?
Yep, it's 3
Oh,
hours
yeah.
and 3 minutes.
Oh my god.
It's not bad. I thought
Well,
it was like 3:34.
Okay, but we need to cut out like the
Wait.
bathroom break. And
Yeah, there's
everything.
stuff- It won't be that long.
No, this
There
was
was
like a
bathroom
10-minute
breaks and stuff in
podcast.
It'll be
Let's just
2
quick
hours,
toss it on.
59 minutes, and 11 seconds. That's what
Look,
I'm going
if
to
any
you put
day
this
now.
on and you choose to walk while listening to this, you'll be the healthiest person on earth over time. Just give us some
True.
time and you will never die. You're welcome. We're saving lives with the pod, actually.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our third episode of Pew Pew Bang. Eventually, that number is going to get so high that I'm not going to count anymore. Honestly, that's probably going to be next week. I don't think I'm.
Four. We get rid of 4.
Oh, yeah. Janet, tell people where to find us.
Yeah, we're on Blue Sky under the handle Pew Pew Bang, and we're on Instagram and TikTok under Pew Pew Bang Pod. So check us out. We'll be doing, promotions of the show, little clip outs. Shout out to Leo for sending some clips. And also just like little memes and fun jokes. And if you see Pew Pew written in any game or anything, send it my way. I will add the bang and post. And that's what I've been doing with screenshots of video
Heck yeah.
games. It's been fun.
Yeah, I think we want to have some fun. I mean, the quiz was on the social medias,
Sky,
I think, exclusively. So we're hoping to do more fun little stuff like that. So definitely give those a follow. Also, I mentioned this at the top of the show, but be sure to subscribe to Pew Pew Bang if you're listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast feed for it. If you're feeling particularly nice, we'd love if you leave us a rating as well.
There's been some nice
and-
ones. Did you guys see them?
I know.
There have been really
So
nice ones.
cute.
Yeah. Pew Pew Bang is a MinnMax podcast, and it's listener supported. MinnMax is a cool place that we all work as well. We do other content with MinnMax as well, like the MinnMax Show and the Deepest Dive and New Show Plus, all kinds of other video game content that is not quite the same as Pew Pew Bang, but it's got a lot of really similar vibes. So check that out. You can support the show at patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. Find a tier that's right for you because your support is what allows us to keep making this. And as always, continue to share our content and tell a friend and stuff because we want to find more cool people.
Yeah.
And send us feedback. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. This was fun. Let's do it again soon.
Yeah.
Our parents are getting us
Yeah.
now.
Sleep over,
Yeah.
over.
We're getting picked up.
Over. Bye.
If you liked this, you can catch more of us on MinnMax's other content like the MinnMax Show podcast, our Unhinged community voted series, New Show Plus, Deepest Dive game clubs on new and retro games, and a whole lot more. It's all Patreon supported, so if you enjoy the show, please consider checking out those benefits, clicking around to our other shows, or telling a friend about Pew Pew Bang. Thanks a bunch.